Been waiting for 4 hours.
7 years of it. That's he dumped some out. That's not half. There wasn't that
It's
when
an
I was in
awful
the
version. I
There's
can't tell.
60% in
Yeah.
there, I'd say.
Yeah,
I'd
not
say maybe
half.
he did 30.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Geek First 584th episode. I am the Emperor Travis Snell, and I'm joined by.
I am the set it weird, Dylan Musk.
I'm the scroll son of a bitch, Kirkland Betzer.
I'm the Amen, Taylor Field.
Taylor, tell us where they can find us because I gotta close the door.
Ladies and gentlemen, while Travis closes this door, you can find
door?
us in an open door. Geekverse.ca is our home base. Geekverse is our Twitter. Geekverse is our Facebook. You can find us on Patreon. You get tons of awesome things on the Patreon popping off. Where's that beautiful banner? That's not it. That's not it.
The Remaster
That's
card.
not
Dog
it. Where
shit
is it?
trailer.
Where is it? Where's that one? There
What
is
is
it.
happening? What I
There
love
we go.
for
That's the one.
humans.
Thank you to our
What's
Patreon.
she chopping? This is a wonderful start to the
Thank you
review.
to our Patreon producers, Aaron Braden, April of Darkness, Joshua Wright, Jack Grant, Muds. You folks, you're all fucking fantastic. Just love
You're
you
the
guys
best.
all.
Yeah, head over to Patreon. I'm going to take over now, Taylor. Get episodes like this ad-free, early exclusive. You can get the bread and butter that these gentlemen did last week about the gaming backlog. The X-Men retrospectives up there early. There's about, I think, 4 episodes up there early. And a big thank you to everyone that supported us for Extra Life. Raised over $1,900, so thank you very much.
That number.
I know, man.
Just
From
like on your Facebook post there.
Yeah, I know. Huge. People are like, where'd the money go? And and then click on YouTube. You can check out our movie trailer for our movie we got coming out in January. So that's lots of good times. But we are here to review The Marvels, the last MCU movie of the year and the last MCU movie till next July. Because as they announced
Oh.
today, next year we're only getting one MCU movie now, and that is Deadpool 3. So MCU is going to take a nice long break. Is it going off on a high note? I do not know. We're going to find out. Already for YouTube listeners, it will be recorded after. If not after for the, I don't know what the hell I'm trying to say, Loki finale, season 2 reviews, also in the feed by the time you're listening to the on the podcast feed. So you can start that, end with that, whichever way you want to go, that's there. And I hope you enjoy what we do because I got to read. We got a nice 5-star review a couple days ago, beginning of November. It ties in this. Don't worry, it does. Where is it around here? I'll find it at some point. But someone was just saying that they really appreciate our Marvel reviews, and that's where if you like what we do here, check out Loki. Here it is from Gamerboy Alf. I'm a loss for words. This sounds like a fake review. I swear, I can swear it's not me, but I'm at a loss for words. I totally recommend this podcast if you're interested in listening to reviews on Marvel, like I am already. So it sounds a little fake, but I don't think it is. So thank you very much
What
for
was his name?
put the
Gamer?
Gamerboy Elf.
Oh, that's
Alf.
Travis's
Uh,
gamer tag on
No
Xbox.
praise for
That's
side
you,
quest
isn't it?
though. From Gamer Boy Alf though, I gotta step it up over there on the side quest side of things. I guess
You didn't get praise from him?
I didn't in the review that you just read. I didn't hear anything about.
Oh, I guess, yeah. Maybe go check out SideQuest. I thought you meant like he left like a specifically negative.
Oh yeah,
review.
he went,
It's the
he went on
complete
side quest.
opposite.
Dog shit podcast. Go
If
for
you're looking
Marvel
for
reviews.
video content, this is not it. But yeah, so we review a bunch of stuff. We do Marvel, Star Wars, DC, video games, TV shows. You know, later on in the year we'll be covering Echo, I guess next year. So lots of good jazz. So Dylan, I'm going to throw to you because I do not know what you thought of this movie. I've seen a single GIF of this movie, but what did you think of the Marvels? Obviously, a follow up to many things: Miss Marvel, WandaVision, in a sense, Endgame, Captain Marvel. Seeing these characters, it's been a little minute, and like I said, it's going to be quite a while before we get an MCU movie. So, are you happy with what you got for a last outing, at least for over half a year, or not? Yeah, over half a year. Yeah.
Over half a year. I feel like the best way for me to describe this is not a very intellectual take, but I'm just gonna say this is like a very dumb movie, a dumb, silly movie. And you know what? I had a good time. I enjoyed it. I think if I'm really to put on the critical lens here and break it down, there's definitely a variety of plot holes or weird character things I could bring up, and I certainly will. But for the first time in a while, I feel like none of that stuff really bothered me because it was just, once again, a fun, dumb, silly movie that wasn't really taking itself that seriously. And even though the stakes were pretty big, the whole movie just had this aroma to it that I didn't really care about those things for the most part. So, yeah, I had a good time with this, even though we'll definitely come with some criticism, I'm sure. And then, I mean, the GIF that I shared, which was just the James McAvoy sweating and from Wanted, that classic GIF, because I saw this movie before these three, and I was just like, man, I cannot wait to talk about some of the things that happen at the end of this movie with these guys. I feel like that's going to be half the review is things that aren't even really the movie, just classics, Marvel post-credit and whatnot. So, yeah, those things definitely amp it up. And, I don't do a number score anymore, but some of those things right at the end would, if I still did numbers, it would give me a point or two on whatever my score would end up being. Like that's how hype I was for those things. So yeah, there you go. I'm generally positive on this, but it could definitely come in with some criticism when we get to that point.
Tayfield, I'm curious.
Yeah, this film was rushed. It was not well thought out.
You're
in
on set.
certain
You're on set. Hey,
things.
you're like,
This is rushed. I feel like it, in the grand scheme of things, really detracts from other projects, but like in a weird kind of way, because it's like, I don't know if it's just loose storytelling and how they try to connect things. It just feels like this really is not fit with other things, other projects, I guess.
so detracted from Secret
This is the
Wars
most
or Secret
negative you've
Invasion, what
ever
you're
started a
saying?
review, I feel.
I've
This
never
is
heard
awesome.
Taylor describe something as rushed. That was a real rush.
I've heard
Is
it's
your-
long. It was long.
I
but
will
never
say I was
rushed.
not expecting this when I didn't like we were sitting by me and Kirkland. I wasn't expecting this response out of Taylor. I didn't know if he'd love it, but I didn't think he'd be coming in hot and stuff. But you think this detracts from stuff like Secret Invasion and everything?
Well, yeah, like, and not that Secret Invasion
I set
like,
you up.
it detracts from other things too, and all of a sudden you have this, which is detracting from itself. Like, yeah, it's just, I don't know about that, Swubs, but it's a shame. It really is a shame, because this is our last film, like you said, till
Wow.
2024, and I feel like that's not how you want to end off things right now.
It's not even a full year. I mean, is it really that long to wait? It is for Marvel standards, but it's not like
It's a full
We're very
like
lucky.
digit, so like 2023 to 2024. It's a full digit.
Well, no matter what, even if we got a movie in January, you'd be still waiting a digit then. If your definition is a year.
That's a long digit, and this is what they ended it on. I don't know, but yeah,
you say
if
it like
I
it was
was
a creative choice that like let's really go out strong on the Marvels here and not have these SAG strikes
Yeah.
that last month.
if I was alone, I feel like it would have maybe floated differently, if that makes sense. But being with you two guys, I was actually laughing
ruin
and
the
nitpicking.
experience? Okay.
Well, I was laughing with you guys. I was nitpicking things a lot more, and I thought I was just able to think in retrospect about certain things that they
It's
were
their fault.
doing, and it's their fault. Yeah, like there's
the hate out.
there's one scene that should have been really really sad, and I was dying laughing throughout the whole fucking thing. And
The problem
and-
is, I don't even know what scene you're talking about because there's quite a few scenes that we
I
busted
know
a
what
little.
scene he's talking about.
Oh, I'm
You
excited to
know.
get there.
But yeah, it's a shame. That's all I have to say. It's a shame. Like, there are some highlights of this movie, and I think there were some really cool bonding moments and some development between our characters. And it was cool to see the three heroes team up and have this relationship form, because there's certain things we haven't seen before between these characters since Captain Marvel, and there's like WandaVision, all that kind of stuff, and Miss Marvel. So getting to have those storylines intertwine and to explore that a little bit more is really cool. I love how, like, what you were alluding to, Dylan. I can't wait to be able to talk about that. But yeah, I just felt like it was really rushed. And I like Sam Jackson. You said like he's always been there for a paycheck. I felt like he's acted a lot more in the other ones, but this one, man, like he was just there just for the
Okay.
fucking money.
No, I've said the past few projects. I did say he's always been there for a paycheck. I think since
His whole
Ultron,
career, he's just doing it for the paycheck.
since Ultron, maybe barring, because I did rewatch it again today, Captain Marvel, maybe barring that movie, I think he's pretty much just been there for a paycheck. And I will agree with you here. He was definitely here for a paycheck. And I'll always stand by that they should have killed Nick Fury a long time ago. I think we should have said bye to him, because we're not getting great content with Nick Fury all around right now. So, yeah. Mr. Patzer, you scroll SOB.
Yes. Sorry, I just pulled up the GV community chat. S-Bubs dropped Taylor on the Marvels review, little meme on there, so go check that out. Yeah, I feel like I'm
Join the Discord now.
I feel like I'm kind of in the middle between Dylan and Taylor here, because I did, I did have a lot of fun with this movie. I I feel like there is a lot of issues that I do have with it. There's particular moments that I've been looking forward to, specifically maybe certain characters meeting for the first time, and to me it just under-delivered there. So I feel like the big things that I was really looking forward to in this, they just didn't really deliver, so much so. But there was a lot of like goofy fun moments that I don't know if I took it in like the wrong way, like maybe it was supposed to be more serious and I just took it in a goofy manner, or there were moments that it definitely felt like they were leaning in that goofy direction, and it really worked for me. Like I was definitely laughing hard. I'm very curious on how I'm gonna feel on a second viewing of this, because I feel like there is certain scenes, like right now I already have a bunch of issues plot wise and maybe certain characters' motivations, and I'm curious just how much that drop off hits. I'm sorry for getting curious twice
let me
there. I shouldn't do it.
Oh no, we're making a shirt soon. It's gonna be a
Paul,
G
that's what
statement.
I'm hearing.
Oh no, it's there. Cheers. What'd you think of the mouse?
But yeah, I'm wondering how that's gonna hit on a second viewing, and if like the moments that I find funny right now, if they just really fall flat on a second viewing, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, no, this I can't even really enjoy this now. All I'm seeing is those holes that I am already kind of seeing right now. So yeah, but as of right now, I'd say the quality of this movie is rather mid for me, and I don't think that's awful. You know, I've seen a lot worse things than this project. I'm very glad that it didn't. It like I'm not like upset that this is a thing, kind of how Secret Invasion was. Like I'm now watching this movie, I'm upset even more that Secret Invasion happened. But I am happy to have finally had certain characters meeting for the first time, even though right now I feel like it kind of under-delivered there. But you know, future projects maybe will help blossom those relationships that we've seen. But yeah.
Yeah, man, what an interesting year. I'm excited to talk about Loki after, because we've just had such a variety of quality with the MCU, which is not like, I know some people say, oh, Phase 4 has been like that, but really this year, from Ant-Man to Guardians to Secret Invasion to Loki to this, it's been just a wild ride. And I think I'm somewhere kind of in the middle of everybody. I think there's certain moments that I feel completely like Taylor. I think they delivered a really all-time bad villain here. But the problem is, then like Kirkland said, this movie will be, and I'm going to put an asterisk by the score, because I really need to rewatch this again, and I will. I don't know in theaters maybe, because I do think my girls will like this. I think that there's some fun dynamics there. But I was having a good time with these guys memeing and stuff, but that's why I don't, okay, take that alone. I'm just sitting here and watching this. What's the rewatchability? I really don't know. I think Taylor is right where it does feel rushed. I think the runtime hurts it a lot. I'm not saying it need to be 2 hours, 2:45, but the 1:45, it's too short. They just jump from moment to moment. There's one particular moment that's like a big thing that happens, like, oh my God. And then they just move right along, and then they bring it up later on. But it just feels like it's moving at a breakneck speed, but not in a good way. I feel like it's kind of the same way we had. I feel like I always compare Black Widow and say like that's the lesser than lesser than Winter Soldier. This feels like the lesser than Guardians, where it's a team of people all together. They have some fun dynamics. They're trying to go for that dramatic tone at times, but then very comedic tones. It's definitely not as smooth here. I think the tones are a little bit all over. I think it is comparable to Ragnarok. I didn't have as much problem with Ragnarok tones as other people, but I think this one, for me, it suffers that way. There's some moments that are almost Ragnarok-esque humor, but I like them. There's some that it's tough where I don't know, am I laughing because it's like so bad it's good, or am I laughing because it's genuinely funny? And I don't know. There's a couple I know, but there's some I really need to sit on. I think the big attraction here is the 3 stars with, you got Tiana Paris as Monica, you got Brie Larson as Carol, and then you got Iman Vellani as Kamala. I think they deliver. It's not to this level, but I think it's the same way as I always say, I watch X-Men Origins still, because that's Wolverine and Hugh Jackman. He gives like a good as he can performance. I think people like Iman, she's great in this. She steals the show. They need to keep her in she reminds me very early, like Spider-Man when he's in the Avengers. Like everyone was just in love with Tom Holland that stage. Like Iman, I know there's always talks of doing Young Avengers, this and that. It's like, no, she should just be on Avengers main. You know, like the energy she brings to this movie, every scene, she's stealing. And I feel bad for any actor on the screen, because it's like they can't match that energy. She literally feels like a comic book character ripped out and put on the screen, and that's fantastic. Very like I could almost just compare it to like Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool in a way, not the humor, but just like she's a living, breathing Miss Marvel, and it's fantastic. Yeah, it's I think it's just a fine movie. If you like comic book movies, I think there's fun to be had here, and I had a good time. It reminds me of when we're doing X-Men retrospective of just like a one thumb episode. That's what this would be like. Oh, had some fun laughs. Maybe this was a little meh. This didn't make sense, but there was a good moment here. So I think if you like the MCU, you like superhero stuff, there's something here to enjoy somewhat. But like, if someone said, "Hey, I'm failing this," I wouldn't say, "Oh, really? You are?" Like, it feels like a very mid-tier movie, and I think it is. It is like unfortunate, but like, you know, what you're saying, like we still got Loki and they're ending on that. But at the same time, it's not bad. I don't think it's so bad. I don't think it's as bad as Ant-Man Quantumania. So, or, you know, even like, you know, for me, Eternals. So I don't think it's to that level. I just think that it is probably good that they have a good break for a little bit, you know, and I think there's enough that people like here with the three leads, and I think that's the thing. I just wish they were in a better movie, but I could watch them a bunch. Like I would still watch a Marvels 2, hoping it was a really good movie because I liked those three together. There's a chunk in this section in the middle that they're just doing stuff together, and it's fantastic. So I like them all together, and that's to me why I could still, I think, be in the future be able to watch this and enjoy it. So anything non-spoilers to talk about before we break this can open?
Break the cam.
Let's break the can. All right, so we'll be right after this. We'll be right back after this. Gonna take an ad break, and we're getting into full spoilers. So here we go. And we're back. So I want to start in an unorthodox place. I want to start with the villain. I want to go there first. So there is a moment, and this is where I'm not sure if Tavis broke him or not, but we meet this villain. We get her origin eventually, but her, what is it? Dabone, Bradone, Darban, cool.
Dabone, yeah. I don't think it's Dabone.
Dabone is ready. But anyway, so she's just like, yeah, she's just a generic villain looking for something, right? Like, okay, cool, this is where we are. And I was fine with that. But there's a moment, and as we said, we're in spoilers now, so if you've not seen it or you don't care, you know, tread lightly, where she's going to turn on the Skrulls, and she flies down, and she lands in this rock, and I don't know if it was her choice, I don't know if it was the director's choice, or a combo of both, but she turns literally into, when we're talking about X-Men animated series, she turns into a cartoon character, and she just goes, "You Skrulls are," what was the line again, Kirkland? What was the actual line?
It's not. She doesn't even say the Skrulls. It's
Yeah,
the
I know.
Kree. The Kree. Something about the Kree. Like the Kree came here for like the peace treaty. Oh my! I already forgot the line. And
Yeah,
we
we
looked it up
forgot
after the
about
fact.
we
Yeah.
the whole time we just had in our mind that she just landed and said, "You Skrulls," but she
That's
started
the energy
then
she exuded. At
she
least.
proceeded the whole movie to have this, "You will not pass, you will, it's over for you." Like everything was yelling, everything was very, very over the top, everything was just very extra. So anytime she spoke, I could just not help but laugh. And I feel bad because I've seen her in Black Mirror and she's good. I've seen her in movies, she's good. And you know what? It's I wish better because it's Tom Hiddleston's wife and the mother's child. So I wish that she was in a better project. So I don't know who's made these decisions. But when she landed on that rock and started saying, like, yeah, exactly, the Kree help you hopeless Skrulls. And she going on. And just every time we bump into her and yeah, I asked this to Kirkland, like, I don't know what's better, to have a Thor Dark World Malekith villain where they're just so boring and they're just there, or this villain that stands out and so bad but you have a couple laughs. I really don't know. I'll have to wait on rewatching, but this is I think bottom 5 MCU villain. And I know the MCU's always had problems with villains, but from Phase 3 and on, we've had a good string of a lot of them. And I don't know if we've had like a real bottom tier one. I guess maybe the Miss Marvel ones. And of course, this fucking villain turns into Bones as well. They just love turning these Miss Marvel villains into Bones. But yeah, really bad. Really, really first draft. No one gave a shit about it. And I know that's not true, but it just felt like, yeah, just whatever. Do that. That's good. So, oof, for me with Dabone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I can't dispute against any of the points you're making, but I just wasn't really all that bothered by it in general. And I think for me, like you said, you want another 15, 20 minutes on this movie. I completely disagree. I'm so glad that it was the length that it is. I wanted MCU to try mixing up the formulas a bit, and I think they did that here to some extent. And yeah, I just feel like an extra 20 minutes of what you get, like some extra additional backstory, some conversation between her and her lackey. They're like, I don't need any of that stuff. Like she's in it just enough, and I think to me it works perfectly that like the final battle against her is they battle for a little bit, but then she just
Oh
kills
my
herself,
God.
right?
Yeah.
Like to me that is hilarious, and like they're almost like that's where I don't take this movie too seriously, and I feel like they kind of realize what sort of villain this is, and they're almost like making fun of it in a way. Now obviously it's not Fourth Wall-y and like a Deadpool She-Hulk sort of situation, but in that way it kind of worked for me. But yeah, I mean definitely if I'm ranking this against the villains in the MCU, this is definitely like one of those early era weaker ones that we had for many years before we finally got into some of the meat and potatoes of the better villains.
And I will say, because I'll clarify later, when I talk about some runtime could have been added, none to the villain. I think this villain's a lost cause. I don't think there's anything more they could have added with the lackey or her that would have helped. I think there's some of their character
I know what you
moments,
mean. There's
okay.
a couple plot holes that I'm like, well, that doesn't even have an answer. Like they probably had that and they just cut it for some reason, or they just didn't film it, or like special effects, whatever. But I don't know. I just think for what the tone of this movie, I don't think it needed any more. I don't need any of those answers, honestly.
Yeah.
No.
That I didn't get.
I really didn't like the villain at all. I majority of the time she was on screen when she's trying to have these badass moments, it was just so hilarious. That look that they have when they put on the Kree torture devices, and they're just, I don't know how many times her face was shown, but she has this like crazy look on her eyes that they keep flashing to, like
She
no
doesn't have a
less than
gold
7
tooth,
times.
But like in between her front
Yes.
teeth, she has
Yeah.
a tiny little.
She's showing her
gold-
grill.
She's
and
a
she's got
buck
these crazy
silk- yeah.
eyes, and it just stuck with me for the rest of the movie. And like it's pretty early on when they have that moment, and I could just knock that image out of my head. They totally singed it into my brain. So every time I saw this character, especially just the way that she was carrying her voice, it had this. I mean, like Travis was mentioning, just the "you shall not," like just this
You
big-
scrolls suck. We hate you all. And we're gonna kill you
Yeah.
again.
So it just got me in the like, it made me enjoy the movie more just because it's always good to giggle and laugh. But
I'm trying to think back to didn't Ronan talk kind of weird in the
He
way
did.
he delivered
He-
lines?
I
so maybe
feel
that's
like
just
definitely.
she was. I feel like she was inspired by
listen
Ronan.
to you.
well, that's what it felt like. Is just Ronan, like B-rate Ronan. Like
Yes.
she had a smaller hammer,
Biggest mistake
smaller
they made.
character,
Yeah.
and it just I don't need that again. So I really would have just rather them had maybe like a group of Kree, and like they're the ones that battle the Marvels at the end of the movie. They're the ones that are opening these portals. Maybe there is one person that uses the bandle, but like I just would have rather, I don't know, a little tight knit crew of random Kree individuals that are just popping off, as opposed to trying to focus a lot of attention on this. And yeah, like I almost completely forgot about her little side lackey there. I did not need
my-
any of those
yeah,
scenes
strange
whatsoever.
character.
They could have cut
was weird.
really all of that
really
out.
weird. Yeah. I
Yeah.
just wonder with this movie, especially because I feel like the third act is, like Dylan said, it's like a joke fight. She kills herself, and then they're like, "Okay, we need to set up Secret Wars." Like, I wonder if there's a version of this movie, like almost what you're talking about, Kirkland, where you don't need like a. I know it's a comic trope, but you don't find a way not to even have a big battle or villain, because like I don't think they weren't. She was not a big part in the finale. They gave her this mini quick origin at, okay, she was like a, whatever that team was that was in Captain Marvel, and they blew up the planet. And again, I think that's a very interesting storyline that they don't care about, and it's fine because this movie doesn't care to tell it. But this idea of Captain Marvel slamming down, thinking this thing's the right thing to do, destroys it, and just fucks this planet over for multiple decades. I think there's something really juicy to type there, but they just talk about it in a cornfield and then they're over and we're good to go. That's again,
Yeah.
that's stuff where I'd want more runtime of like, show more of her, like she's destitute at this planet to like a hellscape now. And it's just like, and it's just, again, also we like, I don't know. We'll get into it. I have problems with Captain Marvel, the character, and some of her choices she's made. But yeah, I wonder if there's a better version of this movie where it's almost just a bunch of big goons that they could fight a bit and get to do this portal thing, because they are not concerned about the villain at all in this movie, and I think it really shows. And yeah,
I have two other things. One is very nitpicky. I was just very consciously aware of this. I felt like when she was using that hammer, I could just tell that it was like made of styrofoam or whatever prop it is, because like it didn't have any heft to it, and the way she would move
No.
around with it, it didn't have that same like gravitas that Ronan did. So I don't know if they threw that prop out and had to build a new one, and they just literally had to make it
It's
out
like
of
a pool
cardboard or
noodle,
something.
just
Yeah.
flopping
Yeah,
around when
it
they
was,
twist
it was
We
just
have
something
this.
I kept noticing. But then a pro for her is, I mean, her look isn't anything too crazy, but I loved her outfits, and I feel like every scene, even if it was like in the story like 5 minutes later or 10, 30 minutes later, she would have like a new outfit on. So I don't know why she's doing all these wardrobe changes, but especially the one she had at the end, I really enjoyed
Yeah,
it.
that was a good
It's-
one.
It's somewhat subtle of like a costume. It's not some big huge thing with a cape and all these colors and gems glowing and whatnot, but I really liked her look for the most part. Other than the fucking golden grill, I didn't need.
Yeah. Dylan, who do you prefer, the president from Secret Invasion or Darben? I'm going Darben.
Uh,
At least
God, I
there's
don't-
some entertainment there.
I don't remember who that guy is. I mean, I don't hate Darben like you guys do. I'm not gonna make a case that it's a very well written villain, but it just didn't bother me in the same way. So I'll go Darben because I had some good moments there.
Kirkland.
Like between the two, the lesser of the two evils. I feel like it's such a hard decision for me to make, but maybe Darben.
Let's go. Another point for Darben.
Yeah.
Taylor?
So like, what is the context? Am I picking like who would I win in a fight
I don't
against?
know. You just said
or-
who would you?
Mortal
No, I
Kombat
think who you
character.
like.
Who
Who
you
would you
picking?
win
You
a
think
fight
we would pick
against?
Darben as the people we would win against?
You think we're a bunch of sex
I
with
mean,
people?
she did
Oh yeah, I'd
KO
fuck up
herself,
Darben.
so maybe
Yeah.
that would be our best chance, actually.
Is Taylor thinking right now?
who you ranking
about
higher?
that question?
And I'm glad you got the Emperor. We're gonna get to him next, just so we can get rid of the scrolls once and for all. 'Cause
Yeah,
fuck,
seriously.
man. Quick, Taylor, quick.
I'll take the
It's another-
president. I'll take the
Okay, thank you. What do you feel about Darben? Jesus,
president.
3-hour cast is Taylor being like Darben or the president.
What are you picking, Travis? You didn't answer.
I said Darben for
Oh.
sure.
Yeah,
I
he's,
hate
he's on the Ben train.
Derm alone had a bad year. That Scream 6, no, he bad year.
I wasn't really a big fan of her villain just because I felt like she was like the lesser Ronin version. And yeah, she was just screaming all the time. And I once I kind of found out her motives, I thought, okay, I can kind of see what her motives are. It's not to just like destroy the world or take over the world. It's to restore her own world. But in doing so, it is absorbing and destroying other worlds, which is unfortunate. But yeah, and she's
Very
targeting
unfortunate.
worlds that are very important to Captain Marvel. So obviously
guess.
some vendetta, but I don't know. I just
Can
feel
you
like
tell me? There's Earth, the musical planet. What was the other one? I guess the Skrull treaty place.
Yeah.
But
Tarkon
even though,
or
like,
whatever
Why
what?
are you
it's
rolling
called.
your eyes at that? Does that not make sense?
Because I don't think she really gives a fuck about the Skrull. She says she does, but it's been like she's like kind of just checking up on them, and she's barely on
doing pretty
Earth.
good, though.
She's
They
been
were
to
doing
Earth
good
like
where they were.
twice. Like,
Isn't that one movie she's like, oh, I'm helping find a new homeworld for the Skrulls?
yeah, and Captain Marvel. And that was 30 years ago, though, in the MCU timeline.
but
Almost
she found
40.
them. She found them
There you
out.
go.
That
Yeah, how'd
world.
that work out? You Skrulls.
I also roll my eyes at that though, because when it's
Yeah.
just like I'm gonna find the places that are close to Captain. Like I just it's such an eye rolly like motivation for that villain to have, and how convenient that they're like perfect
trying to save
resource
your
planets.
planet. Yeah,
Like,
just go
oh, we need
anywhere.
water. Luckily, Captain Marvel was married to this guy that's on a planet 99.6% water or whatever it was. It was so of like, I don't know, mustache twirly
Unnecessary.
villain type thing. Like, I'm going to find the places that are close to you and I'm going to bring them to my place. Like, it just, for me, yeah, it was kind of nails at chalkboard. Like, it just really, really irked me, just that motivation there.
I thought at the start she was cool, but I wasn't a fan of her look. I'm sorry, Dylan. I wasn't a fan of her costumes and stuff like that.
Sorry, Dylan.
I'm sorry, Dylan.
I like he
Who
designed it or
dressed
something.
you?
Yeah, I did, and Dylan must.
Like I feel like I would love to see more of these fantastic like Marvel villains that are written really, really well. I feel like she could have been written really, really well, but I feel like they didn't really give her that opportunity to shine. And maybe I'm still riding off of like Gore the God Butcher kind of stuff. 'Cause it just, man, he was fucking good, and I want that
He's not a good
level of.
villain. He's not a good villain, Taylor.
He's not good.
Yeah, a lot
I
of
thought he
people-
was
A
awesome.
lot of people don't like Gore the
Oh,
God Butcher.
I
They
love
think
Don't
he's
like him.
underwhelming.
Don't like him.
I thought he was fantastic.
He's no Darben.
Yeah, he's no Darben.
Yeah.
Okay.
No
let-
president either.
no, he's no president.
Go to the Skrulls. Go to the Skrulls.
So Skrulls, we're gonna get this that way just before we get to the big stuff. So, the Skrulls journey, I am very much ready for this to be over, and I think they had a huge missed opportunity here by not killing every single one of them, and I at least could have give Darben the credit here. But you gotta look at so Darben lands, and she goes, "You Skrulls, the Skrull Emperor is a fucking idiot. They're doing this peace treaty thing. Clearly, they don't have any power. They're just like she's literally just like." yeah, I'll give you a piece when I suck the energy out of the air. And the Skrull goes like, okay, we will work together. And it's just like, what
This
the
is
fuck,
face.
dude?
This is face.
His kids are dying in this scene, and this is his face. And like, so look at the Skrulls' journey. They're looking for a plan, and Captain Marvel will find you a plan. And that's the whole plot of Secret Invasion, right? They can't find it, whatever. They're on Earth. So now on Earth, at the end of it, they've been given. And as I was watching Captain Marvel again, I got a flashback of how fucking Talos died. And remember, he just died in the president's limo, going, ugh, it's for nothing. But end of that show, they get a. Gaia, Darben, but they get a death
Taylor,
rule,
give us
right?
one, give us one.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Gaia! Gaia!
So the president gives them a death rule, right? If you see a Skrull, man, woman, or child, you can fucking kill that and it's legal. Okay, great. They get taken to this planet, Tar-Rex. They're safe. They listen to Darben, who sounds like a terrorist with everything she's saying, but cool, they're all for it. She lands on the rock. You Skrulls suck. She opens up a portal that's going to suck them all up. So there's 16 of them left. This movie, this is what I'm talking about tone-wise. It's supposed to be a fun time, yet we're seeing Skrull children just die right in front of us. And it's like, what are we doing? So all 16 of them are left. And what's going to happen? We're going to send them back to Earth where the president literally said, we will fucking kill Skrulls.
It's the
if we
purge.
see-"
It's the purge for the Skrulls right now on Earth.
So they left Earth to go to this planet, and they're going right back to Earth. And this Emperor, the actor, has no energy, nothing. He's bringing nothing. He takes his crown off. I gotta get his name. Literally, within 10 seconds, Captain Marvel's like, "I'm gonna help you." He's like, "We want nothing from you." And then Captain Marvel goes, "I have a friend that could help you." He's like, "Well, we have no other options." It's like they get the Skrulls. I think we should make a list of like the top 10 best and worst things of the MCU while we're waiting for Deadpool 3. The Skrulls, I think, are easily a top 5, maybe top 3 thing because from the inception of Captain Marvel to now, they've been a massive disappointment. And they're just a meme. When they popped up in this whole story they did with, again, they're planning it. Like, I thought they were just going to say, great, they're on a planet. That storyline's closed off. The Skrulls are happy. But no, why are we again? Like, now the Skrulls are in Asgard, back on Earth. And I know they probably won't take a big role, but just like, why is this like... Why do they care? Why do they think we care? Maybe they thought Secret Invasion was going to hit better, but it's just like the fact that it doesn't, maybe that hurts it too. But I'm just done with this. So I wish Darben just killed them all, but Skrull's just awful. Awful addition here.
Yeah.
Cut that. Make this an hour 30 and cut out that Skrull stuff and just have them die, and that's it. We don't need Captain Marvel. Oh, we'll find you a place. And the Valkyrie cameo's pointless. They're doing that shit again where they're like, oh, look, they're dating. They're a lesbian couple. No, they're not. They're going to cut that shit off in other countries, and they're never going to call them girlfriends together, even though they're trying to imply they're getting it on. It's like, show some fucking backbone or don't do it. So this whole section, like, just annoyed me, but luckily we were laughing, so I got through it. So
Skrulls truly peaked just in that first Captain Marvel
Yep.
movie. I
That
thought
was
they
it.
were. I thought it was a good plot point in that moment, especially just like the little switcheroo of thinking that they're the true enemy of that movie, and then it's revealed that the Kree are actually the bad guys. And this is where, like I was saying earlier, where I just wish Secret Invasion never even happened, because I think coming from Captain Marvel to this, it's not even like that terrible. Because if this is really where you think that all the, I mean, minus Talos has just disappeared, but like if this is truly where you think Captain Marvel found a place for the Skrulls, I feel like it just hits so much harder, other than like not knowing of what's going on at Earth, not knowing that there's just a kill law out there for all the Skrulls from the president. It really brings down, I think, I mean, all the Skrulls going forward for me, because I just really, really hate Secret Invasion, but also just for feeling for these characters, feeling that they're on the run, feeling that they're just like hunted down, and seeing these innocents just die from these rock slides and a handful of them make it out. It really, really doesn't make me feel anything, really, unfortunately. I don't want to sound cold-hearted, but I just, Secret Invasion did things to me in all the wrong ways.
The thing I don't understand is why did Nick Fury not tell Talos and all of them, like, hey, you guys, I promised you a place you can go. Well, this Emperor fucknuts over here has got a great place, but I'm not going to tell you where it is. So you guys are just going to keep doing my shit here. I just don't understand why they would just create that rift in the story.
Well, no, I think I don't understand. I thought they were trying to imply that these were all the Skrulls that were on Earth and they left Earth, and this was the peace treaty being set up, and they were at this planet for like a month or two, and then it got ransacked again.
That's not how I took it at all.
For a month,
I mean,
they
like
quite
as
the
Bub says-
architecture set up.
Talos said every scroll was on Earth. So in that sense, they would all have to have been coming from Earth, Secret Invasion time.
But
So it's like they
that's
got.
to Talos' knowledge. He
That's
doesn't-
true.
Yeah, I
doesn't
took it
know
as this was another
Smart guy, though,
group
Talos.
of Skrulls that
Oh,
were
that's smart.
like existing out here on this other planet.
So they're
the
going to
Northerners.
Earth, no idea about this kill rule. They're just like, yeah, sure, I'll go there. And then the
Yeah, it
second
makes-
they land,
Can't wait to
makes me
meet the
wonder-
president.
It makes me wonder if there was some kind of cohesion here to try and, if they were, maybe they hadn't confirmed it yet, but they were thinking of doing Secret Invasion Season 2, and this would be a good way to, it'll bring some new players down, you get introduced to them here, and then when we do that second season, you can figure out more of these characters. I doubt they'll go that direction after the numbers that Secret Invasion got, and presumably if the numbers on this don't end up being very high, I don't think they'll really go down that path anymore. So
No,
yeah, I don't know. I
think
don't know
so.
what the role would be of Skrulls in the future than if they're just chilling on New Asgard. But yeah, I mean, I don't think I have much more to add beyond what you guys said. I'm definitely over the Skrulls. Never really liked them because I'm not a big fan of the first Captain Marvel movie either. So I was not too happy to see them here and that whole sequence. At least for me, it was pretty short, and so
Yep.
it didn't seem like it took a whole lot of the movie up. I agree, Kirkland. Like the base they had, I love the design of that base. The kind of very rounded shapes built into the hillsides. That was really cool. So it's too bad that place is not breathable air anymore. But yeah, and then I like seeing Valkyrie because I like just seeing MCU characters pop up in different things. But it was pretty cheap and not very substantive. And you're right, they kind of did that classic MCU or Disney kind of bait and
Yeah.
switch with that sort of relationship. So I think
And
that's-
that'd be
I don't want to talk about the Skrulls anymore. If you guys more, go ahead.
No,
but,
I was
that's
just
all
gonna
wanna
say, and that would be like, obviously they won't jump into it, but I'm down for that. It'd be fun. Like, I like Valkyrie, I like Captain Marvel. If you tell me, hey, this is their item and they're a little pair, great. But it's like, when am I ever gonna see that? Like, when are we ever gonna get to that point where we see a movie or something? There's so much stuff going on. It's like they'll, I guess, just be somewhat associated. They'll probably insinuate that they're maybe like living together somewhere, but it's just, I don't know. It just does too much. So
I
it
could see
doesn't do
Captain
much.
Marvel being like a thing in the next Thor movie. Like if
Yeah,
Kamala
hopefully.
goes off to do more Earthside Avengers tasks, where does Captain Marvel go? Because like, what are they gonna do? Captain Marvel 2 after the Like, I don't know if they want to go that route with her. So maybe she would join Thor, which they confirmed that they're doing that, right? Like a few weeks ago.
That's the
Thor
rumor.
5?
Thor 5's happening without Taika. Yeah, that's what the plan is.
Right.
I don't think you're gonna get a follow up to Marvels, so I think that's kind of dead in the water. So yeah, maybe.
I'll play the other side of the Skrulls here. I think it was really cool to see them. I like seeing them, and I don't know like any kind of like what they're capable of amounting to aside from Secret Invasion, what they're capable of. So I'm sure in the comics they do a lot more grandiose things on Earth, but that's something I'm not
Yeah.
familiar with. So I only have what I've seen, and I like seeing them come back here and be more on like the good side and just trying to get by and survive. And I was laughing throughout all of it, with the destruction with you guys, and I feel bad in retrospect that I was laughing. Like,
Oh, was that the moment you're talking about non-spoilers that you? felt
yeah,
bad
it's
about
like
laughing?
man, these poor fucking Skrulls, and like they're all just like
they
you look
deserve
up, like they're running. Kamala's running to her ship, and she looks up at the ledge, and you see them wave like fucking inflatable
With that
wacky
one guy
arm
just
tube
like
men.
belly slid to Kamala, like help me.
Oh yeah, like two of them went down that slide real quick. And yeah, the one moment though that my laughing ceased and I stopped was then Captain Marvel was like, what did she say? Like, we can't save everyone. We have to
Yeah.
save who we have. And they got on the ship, and you just see like all of them just running down below and just everything caving in on them. And that like I was just in the moment like, fuck, that's horrible. That's really, really horrible. Yeah. So
I was surprised that Captain Marvel said that. Honestly, I thought she would have. I mean, she could have at least grabbed
Fuck
a couple
the
more
Skrulls,
people
get on
and
there,
flown
Kamala.
with them. 'Cause
Well, I
could
think she was
survive
worried
from
about the
that.
power switching though, right? And like maybe leaving Kamal there and then the rocks
Mm.
crashing on her, right? Because I thought
That's
about
true,
that
yeah.
when she was.
I just feel
'cause-
like I don't know. I'm surprised that she let people die. I thought she would have tried a bit harder there, but she saved a few people.
yeah, you
Not
have
really
to.
the Skrulls, though.
few people to
That-
save
that's-
a million.
That's yeah, one life for a million. That's what she says in the ship. Ah, Kamal, they're just scrolls. They're like bottom tier race in the entire.
There's still
universe.
tons on Earth. Don't you worry. I know Talos was still there.
Yeah, I heard Frank Castle's going around fucking killing them all. It's crazy.
Killed Maria Hill, those bastards.
Who? Yeah, exactly. Right.
I just need to see some. I know you guys won't agree with this, but I need to see
No,
some kind of follow up because I
no.
want to know what happens with them on Asgard. I want to see what's going down with this kill order because we've just dumped a bunch more Skrulls on Earth with the kill order. I feel like that needs to be explored, but I digress.
I think the best thing to do is remember how Infinity War opened up and Thanos just killed all those Asgardians,
You don't even see them alive. It's just
Yeah.
corpses already. Just
right? That's what they
warm
need to do
bodies.
with Kang.
Opens up, it's the president and all these dead Skrulls around him.
Yeah.
No resurrections
No.
this time. He's just like choking them out.
No, shoot this time. No, whoever the big bad is, Kang, Majors or not, have him kill these Skrulls and dead. But yeah, I hope they don't fall up. I hope they just leave this in the dust and that's it. So yeah, let's move on from the Skrulls. So yeah, Captain Marvel, she's back. We learned some things about her. Like I said, that she took out. They do their best job of doing it previously on, where she has her little headset and she's seeing everything from the first movie. So if you haven't watched that recently, you got that. She takes out the Supreme Intelligence. Like we said before, that doesn't go good because it just ransacks this whole city. Yeah, I'm at a crossroads where I've always liked Brie Larson in general. I liked her. I rewatched again today. I'm like, oh, this is why I still like this movie more than other people, because I like her in the role. I think that they could always give her more. I like her here. I think she's a good balance of being serious but still being comedic and charming. I think she has good chemistry with the other leads. I think the Captain Marvel character, I'm just like, I just feel like they pull her in so many directions. I know that's kind of the point, but I just feel like there's not a clear image of what I'm supposed to think about her and how much I'm supposed to root for her. Because even then, like we said, like the whole Supreme Intelligence thing, it's like, okay, so she knows that she screwed over this planet, but she's not helping them at all still, because her attack wasn't against the planet of Hala. I just watched the movie again today. It's like, it's against the Supreme Intelligence, this corporation. Like, not everyone on this planet's bad. So it's just kind of weird that she does this. It goes bad. And this person who's obsessed with saving everything and has to help people, that she just leaves this planet. And that's where I think you could, if you want to make the villain series, could go that route. But it's just odd. And that's what I mean. Like, okay, you can get into the more her being cold, right? But then when she's called the Annihilator, don't call me that. I never want to be called that. So it's like, okay, what is she like? Because that's the thing, whether you love him or not, until Civil War, Tony Stark, like, he is pretty cold about some things, and they keep that consistent, and then eventually kind of grows a conscience, go, okay, we should change things up. And I feel like with her, she's stuck between like having sometimes the morals of Iron Man and the morals of Captain America, and I think they just don't have a clear sense of what they want to do, and it's tough because I think she shows better in this one being a fun character with the group, but I think as a character it's still tough. Like, if a Civil War movie happened, I don't know where this character would stand. That's kind of my issue. So
There was two things that they kind of brought up that got me excited, but it just seemed like they went either really shallow with it or they just didn't really want to go in the certain direction. Was one, when Monica is basically just confronting Carol and like why she never went come see her, and then it's revealed that she just was so distraught as to what she did for to the people of Hala, she couldn't even like go back and face it. It's just like a big weight on her, which I thought that was really exciting, but really I didn't think we went like anywhere with that. No. Like by the end, I guess she ends up just recharging the sun and everybody's happy, everybody's like basking in the sun by the end of the movie.
That one lady was fucking
yeah. she was taking in that vitamin D. So I was disappointed that we didn't really lean in that direction. And the other one was when she's using like that headset thing and going through the memories, and it's almost like she sees like herself with the helmet on in like the binary mode, and like the way that it's shot, it's almost like that is the villain. It's like an internal struggle, like she's seeing the monster in herself in that moment. But again, it's just like a quick glimpse, and then we never really go past that point, or we don't go further in that direction. And it just seemed like they didn't really like maybe they just thought that Darben was enough of a villain to have in here. But like, if you want to go that route, why even mention some of these things? Like, it just seemed like they didn't really want to go fully in either direction. And I felt that way with a lot of different decisions of the characters, like whether it was Monica like really laying it on Carol, and how she was just so upset with her. Like, that was resolved in like less than 2 minutes.
I was just gonna bring that up too. That's where I just wish they actually decided, let's just make the whole movie fun. Let's not really have any big deep themes, because one, I don't really buy Monica's reason of being so pissed of like, oh, well, I'm saving lots of people. And she's like, well, there's people back on Earth. It's like, I'm sorry. If there's like multiple planets at stake, sorry, little kid, like suck it up. Like she's saving innocent people that like while you get to like fly your toy planes, she's saving some like poverty-ridden planet. So I don't like Monica's reason being pissy. But even then, if you're gonna do that, they have this conversation and they don't even resolve it in the conversation. It leaves on a thing. But then right after that, they're smiling, they're joking, they're having a good time. And then at the very end of the movie, like you said, they have that conversation again. And then they're like, she's a little pissed, like, you could have come back. I would accept you. That's what family does. I just wish the amount of doing the whole like there's a rift, because they've been setting this rift up since WandaVision, right?
Yeah.
Monica hears Carol and it's like, oh, I'm not a fan of her. And it's just like it was such a non-issue all the way around for the reasoning what they did. I wish they just threw it out and they didn't ever do that, and they just made it a fun, weird situation. Like, hey, I knew you and your kid, and now you're adult. Like, they should have just went more Thor Ragnarok of just keep having fun, just keep going with the chuckles, keep going with the laughs, because the serious stuff, you're not serious about the serious stuff, you know.
But like, I also would have been, I think, a little bit upset if they didn't mention it at all, because we have been building up to it. Since
What I'm saying, go
WandaVision.
like time machine back and don't even put that plant in there. Like, don't do
Oh, yeah.
anything. Like, I'm saying we're fucked, but that's almost what it felt like Nia DaCosta went. Like, that was a storyline, and she didn't really have any interest in that storyline. Like with Taika, again, with the Warriors
Right.
3, let's just kill them off. That's what it felt like. Well, we did set this up, so I'll mention it. But I want them to be friends in the movie, and that's where, I don't know, it's tough. They should have gotten more on the same page with that, I think. But
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, I found it interesting too with the main three. We kind of have this moment that we're all looking forward to of the first interaction between Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel, and then also just the first interaction again with Captain Marvel, meeting Monica again for the first time. And I feel like both these scenes are it's like played like a gag a bit, where the first time they actually interact, it ends up being kind of not the expected scene. It's not just them in a room talking and having this conversation. They're like in the middle of this battle. They're flipping back and forth. They're having to react to what's going on there. And it isn't until later when we kind of get that break and they're all in the ship together when we kind of get the introductions between each other, like later on, or the reintroductions. So it was just kind of weird the way it was paced. And I think it felt like that was kind of done intentionally, but then I think it added some awkwardness between the characters at first, which is probably intended to some extent, and especially with Miss Marvel. I mean, there's a lot of awkwardness with the character, but she's supposed to be kind of like a dweeby goofball who's, fangirling at meeting this idol that she's had her whole life. So it is partially intentional, but it still comes across as awkward in ways that hard to tell if all of it was entirely intentional.
Taylor, thoughts on Carol Danvers this go around?
I mean, she exhibited some similar notions from her previous film, and I thought that was cool, because that first one has definitely grown on me a little bit more. And I get that, okay, they have that film and this film, they established this parameter of limiting her powers, and that makes it easier for why the setup villain is not going to be just bopped right off the bat. Because that's kind of my main kerfuffle when I see this. Like, man, she destroys ships. She goes into capital ships. Like, you see what she did to Thanos' fucking ship? She could do that to her, and like she would just implode and explode at the same time. But like, Daben wouldn't be a speck anymore in the universe. But,
Did they give a reason though? Like, I feel like at the end when Daben was taking her powers, but
well, that's just it. I felt like the reason why she didn't was because the powers kept changing around, and like, I took that as kind of the chain around her, that so it was kind of limiting her powers.
Want Kamala waking up, like crashing through the middle of this like 10-ton ship, just her little body just being destroyed.
Fuck.
Right?
Yeah,
That would
be
happen.
good.
She'd like, oh, like she'd be
It
looking
would
up.
happen.
Yeah.
My hero.
Yeah. So fair enough.
But I did like Brie Larson in this go around though, in this film. I think the fight scenes were pretty cool. She was an interesting hero. I don't necessarily agree with her motivations. You were talking to it, how she just goes and destroys the AI and like takes out a few like the soldiers in the main building and like fucks off. Like
These innocent people.
like, I get it. Like, I'd like to see that scene again, but from Carol's perspective, because I feel like that's the kind of take on here. It's like Last Jedi, Ben's perspective and Luke's perspective of what happens in that
yes.
scene. I feel like in this scene they set it up from the Kree's perspective, and they just see her as the Annihilator. Like she's got her helmet on, her glowing eyes. Like this woman's out for fucking blood. She's killing everyone, leaving rocks on you. So yeah, I just feel like I'd like to see that perspective, and I that's the kind of thing I just disregard with how she just comes in, destroys the AI, and fucks off, and just
leaves.
lets them just
Done.
leaves. Yeah.
And especially she knows like it doesn't go good for the planet, so it's odd because it's almost like they would have been better to save that as like a reveal for her, but it's not. She's carrying this like annihilator thing, like she's known as an annihilator. You know, it's just it's odd. It's a weird backstory that they again don't have time. Like I don't know why it's in there. Don't
Well,
do
that's
that.
just it. They
Like,
don't have time. Like she is one of them. She she's a Kree. She has all this information she's gained on the truth and the reality of the situation. She could have, instead of going there and just killing the AI, she could have enlightened her fellow people and really taught them and like showed them like, hey, this is all bullshit, and guided them. But no, she went in, she started fucking murking them, killed the AI, then fucked off. Like that's
not the
how
way
you
to
do
go
it.
about it. No,
No,
I'm gonna go and just like terrorist attack this planet that I'm from. Especially she's like someone that was like training with them and a part of the crew. So then like the next week, Carol Danvers, or her name was Zier, shows up and just starts destroying everything. It's
Yeah, I am thinking too. I mean, Jude Law not being there, that sucks. But I do think though.
You're just waiting.
I was waiting for him. Her plan to go into the sun and just kind of jumpstart again, very bold. I mean, what if she didn't know how much energy to put in there? She could have supernovaed that sun, and it could just like the woman taking in the sun, just enjoying it. Like she could have just melted the planet. Like
Like Terminator 2.
All the ice caps are just
Yeah.
gone now. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they had to do something, right? That sun there, they hadn't breathed for years, and all that stuff was cheesy. But again, that's what I hate, because I don't think any of this stuff is like Brie Larson's fault. Like, there's nothing in the performance I think is bad. I think the strength of Brie Larson's stuff is when they get her to be more charming, comedic. Like, I think she did really well when they go to that music planet. I think the way she's like selling it, like, oh, I'm like it's just a political thing, but it's nothing, like that build up. And then when she gets there and it turns into her actually singing, she plays it like it's a straight, real musical. And it's like again, she's Academy Award winner. Like, she has the chops. It's just like there's just some choices there. And that's what I want to ask you, because like Kirkland, you were at like all of us were laughing a bunch, but with the musical stuff, were you laughing in like it's funny or so bad it's funny? Because I've heard it both ways from people.
I really love that whole sequence, honestly.
Okay,
I
me
think I
too.
was laughing like genuinely just because I was so shocked on what was happening. And then like when they show the prince and he's just this like super Prince Charming, like he's got the long
Disney,
hair. Yeah, he looks like he's right out of a Disney movie, and he's just like super handsome, struts in, and just the way
Great
they speak is
costume
through
on that.
song.
Yeah.
Super just visually pleasing, that entire planet, and everything about it, like I actually truly enjoyed. So I think on another viewing I am still gonna really enjoy that moment. Yeah, it was also just like you said, like Brie Larson being phenomenal in that moment of just like, hey, just go with this, you know, okay, like when they get in, because you don't know exactly what's gonna happen, and then it's pretty quickly revealed that she's the princess. I mean, it's right there in the song. So I really, really actually enjoyed that whole sequence, which I was really just not expecting, like, whatsoever. And yeah, once she just like, they even like transform her outfit like a Disney movie, you know, the
Yeah.
princesses just like get
her
this
dress
magical
was
outfit.
fire. That was
With
awesome.
the Captain Marvel, everything. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
sweet.
And like again, also like Tiana and Amon on the side were so good. Anytime they'd cut to them like mouthing off or saying something, I actually think like comedically that's the most that Tiana and Paris like shine, from that to the castle to them when they're on that little platform. And that
She's
to
the
me
most
is
serious, like throughout
Yeah.
the movie.
yeah, and but she gets to play like some deadpan humor there in a good way. And yeah, to me again, like I said, non-spoilers, but when those three are together in the comedic beats, the drama stuff's whatever, but comedic beats, the movie's firing on all cylinders. You just want to watch them. It's like, to me, the Avengers dinner scene. I just want to watch a road trip movie of those three doing something like Not Saving the World, just hanging out, because they were so good together. But yeah, the musical stuff, I genuinely was laughing, but I just know I've already seen some people be like, oh, this is so cringe, da, da, da. But I loved it. I thought I was enjoying it. It was, I can see, I think if you don't like Thor Ragnarok type of humor, it is close to that. But, and I don't love all the humor from that movie and like Love and Thunder, but I enjoyed it here. It's a planet and, you know, everything. So I had a good time.
Yeah, I remember. I mean, we talked about this a lot beforehand because there was like rumors that this movie was going to be a musical, and then it was okay. There's just this planet they go to, and everyone when you're on this planet, like you can only sing. And then we heard that got cut. I remember, and I was like, man, I'm so bummed about that. Like I really wanted to see some MCU weirdness, and so I'm glad that it was still in there to some extent. And it was ridiculous, but it was like perfectly ridiculous in the rules of this place. I really enjoyed it as well. And yeah, those were my favorite parts of the movie, when it was just fun, when it was just lighthearted, when it was silly and goofy. And yeah, like you're saying, Travis, those three together just being goofballs was super fun, because I don't think any of them got to shine in this. I guess it's slightly pun intended there, because they're all using their light powers. And that's too bad, but I still think they all got some good moments together, and it was those lighthearted sequences that were my favorite. But I love the bilingual joke when he just like the prince, he can talk normal after they go through this whole charade. My biggest question with that place is, so we know that the Skrull planet, like the oxygen's gone, that place is gone, but there's no one even left living there, so whatever. This place, like they steal the water because Hala has water at the end of the movie. So did they just steal some of the water? Is this place fucked? Like that was to me one of the biggest plot holes of like what actually happened to this place. Is it okay? Because I feel like that seems like something that was maybe cut near the end of the movie. I'm not sure. Maybe they just never. Maybe there's a line that I missed. I'm not sure.
They've implied that this villain is able to open up this portal. It's a two-way portal, and somehow just pick a certain resource to absorb. In the Skrulls' case, it was the oxygen, the atmosphere. Now, this case, it's just the water, but I don't buy it. They'd have to repair those holes because that hole is still above the planet, and it wouldn't stop at just the water. Like technically, it should just be sucking everything in. Like just
I did not like the design of the
top
holes.
scientists on it to make sure it just pulls in that H2O.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing. I just did not like the design of the holes with their multiverse stuff. I liked better in Doctor Strange when it looked like it was just like a tear and it's coming through. Like they looked really robotic. It looked like they were in Cerebro, and I
it's
didn't
different
like that.
though. You know what that is,
I know.
right? Like.
But I'm just saying, I still don't like the design of it. It just looks too tech-based. I know it's from the bands, but I wish it looked more magical than it did look like. It looks like they're in Cerebro, and that's what I don't like about it. It looks like
Different design though, Travis. Don't you?
But
Oh,
it's,
okay, I
it's,
didn't know.
it's
I
the
didn't
same
know.
thing
Why
from
didn't you tell me that,
Guardians.
I
Taylor?
don't know.
Why didn't you tell me that, Taylor?
It's supposed to be technological based though, like Guardians, because it's like hyperspace jumps. Not really. It's not mystical in that sense. Because
I guess I guess I just don't like the look in general, because in Guardians most of the time they're using them as like they're like big shields, right? Is that what you're saying? These are all just big shields?
in Guardians it creates the hex symbol and they jump through it multiple
So
times.
every single planet has this in the MCU.
the jump points, yeah.
Well, the
Yeah.
jump
Space-time
points are
is
like
just-
have been placed specifically. Right?
That's what we learn now, yeah. But we first saw them in Guardians, I'm pretty sure.
No,
'Cause they-
in Guardians those were just the
I-
shields. Those were just shields that kept people out
No.
and stuff.
I
Either
agree with
way,
you, Travis,
I
because
like
we've
it.
never really had them highlighted this before, right? Like they're always
Yes.
just like quick shot. The ship goes through, it closes behind them. But I agree with you, because there was some weirdness to it. Where I think it was the one near the end of the movie when there was like that big tear to that other universe that we'll talk about shortly. I'm soon. Oh my god, my sentence there was pretty messed up. But there was what is this shot from? That you're
This is
That's
Guardians
just from
of the
Captain
Galaxy.
Marvel. No. But what is that? What's the scene? That's no context. It could be like
Looks like a shield. Looks
These
like
are
a
all the
shield,
Guardians of the
Taylor.
Galaxy scenes. See, the hex pops up, the jump points, and they just fly through.
I guess it's just the way they tear for me.
No,
not.
that
because
Yondo
Travis, that's what I was going to say. The part
To
that was
left.
weird to me
This is me seeing all this footage right
is
now.
when the one is broken at the end of the movie. There's one of these hexes that is like floating, like it's like almost like gravity. If like a tile was broken and like the
Yes.
floor is broken and parts of it are sinking in,
And
it's like that's not how I picture that would look. It's like, why is this thing obeying gravity to some extent? Why is it slightly ajar? So it feels nitpicky, but I agree that there was a couple parts where I was confused. That I just felt like we're seeing too much of this. I don't like this thing being on my screen the whole time. It needs to be like a quick flash, and then it looks good.
And Taylor, how come like we'll get to it in the end credits, but how come like this happens in the movie? To me, the multiverse travel portal is like they're built the same way as these like like octagon tiles thing. And I don't like that. To me, if that's like the jump points or whatnot, like why are they the same?
Well, the bangles were used to create the jump points, and then I guess when she had both of them, again, this is the movies saying this, she broke that fabric of space time, and
The way,
it
yeah, the
connected
way I
somewhere
took it
else.
was like when they were making them, they would like there would be two people in separate locations, and they would both use the bangle at the same time, and that's what would create those two portals. And then I guess at some point those portals just connect to whatever other portal exists in the world.
Because they're already made, like they're already established.
yeah, I guess they
right?
connect
Yeah.
to a network at that point, you know. So
It's
I
gonna be
guess
like
that part
MCU
makes sense.
time travel all over again when there's like 3 different ways people time
Use the
travel
bangles to
now.
destroy the bangles.
Yeah,
Re-explain it to me
something-
again 3 different
yeah.
times.
I was almost surprised that Captain Marvel just like handed back the bangle to Miss Marvel. I
Yeah,
feel like,
here you go.
yeah, you know,
No,
I know
she
you're
kept it at
friends
the end,
this
though.
Point, but yeah,
Did we
gotta
see
be-
that happen? Because we see Kamala with the 2 bangles, you know, to open
But she
the
takes
portal.
it at the end when they get in the plane. Captain Marvel's got hers on her wrist, and then Miss Marvel's got hers.
Oh,
on
is that
her
what
wrist.
happens?
But still,
Yeah.
she's
Okay, I missed
they're
that.
leaving them even with one. You'd feel like I guess she's using it, but still, it's like it's a big weapon and like
Yeah, that feels like something you put in lockdown because
Yeah.
of its potential to kill everyone ever. I guess.
She's the hero
But-
of Jersey City, man. She
I-
she deserves it.
not anymore. She's the hero of Louisiana apparently,
It's
which
from
is
her
a weird,
grandmother. Grandma gave it to her.
weird fucking
Was
decision.
it the family that moved?
Yeah, that well,
Okay.
No,
I was
Carol
confused.
Danvers moving in there.
no.
That's what I
Yeah,
thought.
that was
Taylor.
that was
Oh,
her
it's Carol
that
moving
was
in.
her
The family's
gold
helping
plate
her move in.
with the
See,
prince
that's what I
and
thought.
her on there.
That's what I thought at first, but then they said something to imply that it was the family. Like, why would the mom say to her son, "This is a good place to start a family"?
just giving him the incentive.
wants
No,
go
to
have
me
a
that was
shack up with
implying that they are
Carol.
living there.
No, he wanted the son
No.
to hook up with Captain Marvel. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
The
know. I
son's
guess it
married
doesn't make
already.
sense because their house was fucked up, so they would make sense. But yeah, why would they?
That's what I thought because the house was fucked up. So I think there was a few signs to point that they are living there. I'm like, why the fuck did they move New
Very
Jersey to
confusing,
Louisiana?
very
Like,
confusing.
They really bonded quickly in that time.
because even then when she's just like, oh, like I don't know. I think you're and here.
Imagine
no ma-
Monica comes back. It's like, why the
Thank
fuck
you.
are these people in my family's home?
This is what I was just about to say. No matter who's living there, Captain Marvel or them, she just comes back and someone's just moved right in. I'm sure it'll be all hunky dory. Oh, Carol, I love you. We're living together. But I just found it funny that like, well, they took it over, and maybe let's take another ad break and we'll talk about Monica here in a second. So we'll be right back. And we're back. So much like we started with the villain, I'm going to start in a weird place. This is where I wish the movie, because we're talking about this whole moving thing, had a bit more time. We know it's the MCU. We know she's not dead, but still, she's making the sacrifice. She's closing the portals. We lose her. Okay. Brie Larson flies. Oh, misses her. They get back. She hugs Miss Marvel. Cut. That's it. And then they mention her in some ADR line of like, oh, I really miss her. Yeah, I miss her too. But like, just to sell us on anything that this is like trying to do anything to make us think this is like a stake that we should believe this, and there's just no time when you're talking about it being rushed. This is where I take some minutes of like, if we don't know, I know it's the MCU, but still, you just we don't know what Carol Danvers' history is with the multiverse, but even in a universe, if I'm one of you guys gets stuck in a multiverse, I think I'm gonna be pretty upset because like I don't know if she's coming back. We lost people for fucking 5 years to the snap, and I just felt like there should have been a moment when she landed the ship. She just like, oh yeah, gives Kamal a hug, and then we move on to the next thing. I just wish like. Give Brie Larson's, again, Academy Award actress, give her a moment to act like she just lost this kid that she saw grow up from a baby to a 10-year-old, like, and she's reunited with her. It's her best friend's daughter. Like, give us something, but it's just kind of like, yeah, let's
Never
hope.
cared about her. She's got a new kid to deal with.
It's just like, well, I hope I see Monica
picturing-
again one day. You know, it's
Based
like,
on what you said, I'm
what?
picturing them doing that moment where right after that happens, they just do 5 years later, and then we see them like reacting. Man,
Yeah.
I sure miss Monica. These 5 years have been rough.
Yeah, so that to me, like that happens a lot in this movie, but that was to me the biggest sin of give us a moment here to breathe. We just lost Monica, and I get the end credits were happening, but still something to just sell us, but they didn't. And overall, though, at least I feel like I walked with this movie liking Monica more because I thought in WandaVision she was fine. They didn't get enough for me to like. I always like I like Maria better, but I think again, it was all Tiana Pariso and her performance. I love stuff of the names, like, oh, Professor Marvel. No, we're not calling me that. Like, I think she had really good back and forth with the lady. She was like the good straight man out of the two, or straight woman. And I'm more excited to see her now. And I thought when we get to end credits, she sold that scene really well too. So I'm a bigger fan of Monica Rambeau leaving this. So that's a good thing. Again, some moments were just quick draw McGraw, unfortunately. So.
Yeah, I agree. I like the highlight of just her powers too. She's a lot more in control by the end of this, and when they just charge her up and she's in like a binary mode of her own, she's got like the glowing eyes and everything.
Oh, yeah.
She just looks so badass. I liked all
Skrulls.
She's going scroll hunting in this new.
She's
this new
gonna take them out.
No, I also just again love the finding of a nickname for her. They never actually like pinpoint a solid name for her though, right?
They
like
did say Spectrum though.
I know. I was
did,
waiting for
yeah.
them to land on that one, especially just knowing because the Marvel Snap card, great card
Great
there.
card.
But
Just got buff recently. It's perfect.
ooh, interesting. I'll have to add her again. But yeah, I definitely agree with you, Travis. I like her a lot more after this viewing, and I really am impressed too of just the overall look of her powers, because I feel like she's got a Danny Phantom kind of vibe about her, where she's just going in and out of walls, and there's a couple scenes where she just kind of pops up through the flooring, and never really knew that was the full extent of her powers, and the way that her eyes were glowing, it all looked really, really good. There is moments where the CGI isn't spectacular in,
When
in
she's
this movie.
flying up into the sky to save Miss Marvel, that CGI
Yeah.
was horrendous.
Very
the flying CGI
Disney
they gotta work
Plus
on.
show.
They gotta work on
Yeah.
that stuff.
But yeah, I really liked her.
Yeah, I don't know if I have much to add beyond what you guys said. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought she was fantastic. I love seeing her master of her powers. Her powers are really, really cool. Yeah, I think her action sequences were really neat. It was cool to see her fly. Yeah, I definitely stand by that statement you guys put out of her flying being a little questionable with the CGI, but like we didn't see her fly in WandaVision, did we? Because I mean, this is the first time
No,
I
this is the
took
first
it.
time.
This is the first time. Okay, yeah, I thought that was good. I love
That'd be a big plot hole
the-
if she was like, I've never flown before.
Yeah.
Like,
I
we saw
really
that.
enjoyed her trying to go up and save Miss Marvel, and then when they crash land, because Miss Marvel does her powers, and then Sam Jackson, he's just like, what does he say?
He's like, oh, it's just Carol.
Oh, it's just
like
Carol, yeah,
someone
totally
hits the ground.
nonchalant.
Yeah, someone hits the ground and like they're gonna die. That impact, but because it's Captain Marvel, oh, it's just Carol. Good. That
Yeah.
was a legit good line delivery from Sam Jackson there.
Kamala's
So quick,
family's
too.
all around, just fucking terrified. Oh,
in
it's just Carol.
fear, in fear, their 16-year-old daughter's just gonna implode from. Oh, it's just Carol.
Yeah.
So
And like riding on that too, I really loved the whole switching dynamic of it. Obviously, that was shown in the trailer, but like we had the montage of them just perfecting it, juggling. Exactly the jump rope and the music that was going with it was really fun. But also just like the chaos of them swapping in the first act, and you just don't really know why it's happening at that point. So I thought overall it was a cool moment, and I think I'm gonna kind of miss it, especially just how much they perfected it. Even when they didn't perfect it and they were in, God, it's not Atlantis. What is it? Adelon or something like that.
Yeah, I forgot immediately.
Pandora.
Start with a name.
On Pandora, the Way of Water. Just when they've practiced it, but like it's still not perfected. So like they're kind of swapping when they don't mean to. There's some good comedy that comes out of it. So overall, I just really like the whole swapping effect that they had.
yeah, no, I liked all that action. I was gonna say we haven't talked about that, but that was in the trailers. I thought that was all done well for the most part. Could have used maybe some bigger sequences, especially the final fight. I think we've kind of said that before, where that was kind of a nothing deal. But I think the biggest thing was I love the sequence of them getting together, the skip rope, the bouncing books on their head, all that stuff. Moments where Carol and Monica are going to switch, so Carol jumps quickly, so Monica falls down. Like all that stuff was great. Like that's more I could take of, and that I can just transition into. I don't have much to say because it would just be being hyperbolic and saying every good thing. But yeah, man, Amon just killed every single scene, whether she has to be like the fangirl, whether she has to be like just that moment when Monica talks about her mom and she instantly hugs her, and you just buy it in that moment. Sometimes characters do, and you go, oh, it's just because the script tells them they got to see sad, but she genuinely feels like she cares about Monica. The moments where she is feeling awkward, like it's just, they really, whoever casted her, they just did. And that was like all of us have some issues with the show, but we always thought she was great. But again, here it's just like the last scene we get with her, recruiting somebody, she's just in spades. So it's just like any scene, even if it's not delivering, if she's in it, just makes it better. Just like her yelling screams of fear. So yeah, I can't say anything more, but one of the best performances of all the MCU this year. Like, I'd have to think about it, but they not that they need to oversaturate her, but they need to make sure she's in a lot of stuff. Like I said, she should be in Avengers main, not a Young Avengers, in my opinion. She has such a sparkling personality, and I'm very happy that the SAG strike's over, so she actually got to go to a premiere tonight and promote it, and good for her, because it's like big movie and hasn't got to say shit for the whole past 3 months about being in this. So yeah, very top notch right there.
I'm curious what the general audience is going to take from seeing when they go to see this movie and they haven't watched Miss Marvel or they haven't watched WandaVision. I feel like in terms of their introductions, how do you guys feel about Miss Marvel and Monica?
It's pretty brief, right? But I think they did a good job of
Yeah.
playing up that fangirl element of Miss Marvel, the kind of daydreaming. Now, they never really stick with that, which is also a criticism I had with this TV show, is that they did that for 2 episodes and then just completely lost the budget or the interest to try to be any creative with kind of some of the way they would display her powers. So I almost wish that was a bit more of a through line when they were going through these battles and she would like envision it and picture different things in her mind or something. I think it could have been fun. But yeah, I mean, of course, I'm from the perspective of someone who has seen it, but I feel like that's a fairly good introduction. Seeing all the posters on the wall and that sort of thing. Even if you don't, because what movie was it? Was it Guardians that had the post credit with Captain Marvel swapping? Or when
Wasn't that just in Miss Marvel?
No, it was in Miss Marvel.
Oh right, that was Miss Marvel.
Yeah,
obviously. Yeah, so I guess even if you hadn't seen that, I still. Well, obviously, if you would have seen Miss Marvel if you saw that, but I think so. I guess Monica might be a bit of the weird one, but I think what Travis said, where she does the memory thing, and so you kind of get to see those elements of the character that you need at the start of this movie. Whereas Miss Marvel, that's like a brand new scene they developed to kind of quickly show off who the character is. So I feel like they did a pretty good job of that, but we'd have to quiz some people on the street.
No, I thought they did a good enough job of it as well, and like. Even just mentioning, I got my powers from going through a witch's hex. Like, I think that's, like, for Monica, I think that's completely fine. I don't think you really have to go through all of WandaVision just to get her origin story. Because it's not like she goes through a lot of growth for that character. Like, it's not like she, like, learns to master her powers in that show. It's just, this happens. She gets shot out. Now she can do these things. They list, what everyone can do. So it is like you're getting the introduction to what they are in this movie. So I think it's completely fine. And I must say, like, I absolutely love the opening of just like the comic strip when she's like struggling doing the hands. She's like, fuck it, and it's like just keeps them as fists for like the rest of the animation. That was really, really fun. And just keeping like that fangirl isms with Kamala. I mean, completely agree with everything that Travis said about her. She was definitely the standout performer for me, which is pretty wild because I really like Captain Marvel. I really like Brie Larson, and to just have her in my eyes be so much lesser tier than like what Kamala Khan was in this, what Amon brought to the character energy wise, and also just like Travis, you said it earlier, but she just really felt like she was ripped right out of a comic book and is just live action now, and it's pretty amazing that she's able to do that at very young actress, and she's phenomenal. So I think for me, I would have wanted maybe a little bit more of, I don't know, just back and forth between her and Brie Larson, because this has been like a very big lead up of she's always been fangirling over this character. I've been waiting for this moment for them to actually meet since watching Miss Marvel, and I just felt like it kind of underdelivered. I don't know if I just built it up too much in my head, but it was just very quick. It's like, oh my God, she's right there. And then 2 minutes later, they're just like formulating plans together and they're just a part of a team. Like I didn't feel like we really had too much moments to maybe stew on its, like, this is your idol. This is, I don't know, like just, I don't even know who I'd pull in my own life of like one person. I would just, like me meeting Elijah Wood. I feel like I'd just be fangirling over him for so much longer than what she was here. Maybe it's different because they do have, they got to save the world and they got business to do. So maybe she's a lot more mature than maybe what I would have been, but I was just maybe wanted a little bit more there. But I think that's me being nitpicky because overall it was really, really great. Just the trio together.
I think their hope is to kind of have it like the new Tony and Peter kind of connection. And if you look at it that way, like
Yeah.
the screen time Tony and Peter had together in Civil War versus here, you got a lot to build off. Now, I don't know, because I think they had the idea of maybe doing like a Marvels 2 and more like that. I think they're going to look into a lot of things now and stuff. So I agree with you in
Yeah.
that front of, I do like Monica, but I do wonder if it's tough because I saw this movie and I saw what Tiana Paris did and I like her and it's made me like her more. But it's like, is there a version of this movie that I would enjoy if it's just Kamala and Captain Marvel, not against Tiana, just because like those two characters have much more of a history and I want to see it together. I don't know. Luckily, I like all three. And to Taylor's question, I think Miss Marvel, they did that pretty much perfectly. I think Monica's is harder, but that's just because there's a lot more backstory with Carol and Kamal. They're meeting for the first time, so you get to go with that journey. Where this is, I guess, all you have to do is you get those reminders, and you just have to watch the first movie to know, hey, this is this little girl that's grown up now. But they do a lot, right? Of like her mom was in the blip, or she was in the blip. They lost her mom in the blip, cancer. They do a lot of. With her backstory and a lot of the just world jargon. They even have a moment where Kamal and Carol like look at her and she's like, yeah, I know that stuff. She lots of time has to be the exposition machine in Monica, which is a tough thing to do, and I think sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't the best. But nothing glaring, nothing like really bad. Just like, okay, right here they gotta explain to everybody about what's going on here, and they try. And the other thing I will say is they gave Kamal like a little scarf that's, I think, to like mirror her like stretching powers from the comic books. I said this in show, this now, still like her powers. I think her powers look lame in this form. I don't like the crystals. I don't think it really materiates either to like, I know Storm can create fucking winds and tornadoes, but her being immune with these powers, I don't know. I still would have preferred the stretchy route, but just now seeing this on the big screen, like, oh, maybe I'll turn around, and no, I haven't. I think it's still kind of, I don't like them. They just, something about them. I don't enjoy these powers. They're not cool powers. I don't know, like, I don't know. There's just something about it, so.
It's something, though, like, you couldn't really do the linking of their powers together, right? Because they explain that it is just different ways of the
Light
like
powers.
harnessing light. Yeah, exactly. So if she's just stretchy, how would you get that in there, right?
Maybe you still have the bands though, right? And the bands are a family heirloom, and because the bands are supposed to just open multiverses now, right? So I think there's a way you could change it.
I mean, I've also never thought of Captain Marvel as having light powers.
Me either.
But
Yeah,
they
when they say
explain
light
it here,
powers,
and it's
yeah.
like, yeah, I guess it works. It's close enough.
Yeah.
Well, she absorbs light and she pushes it out, and then it flows through you. It's like, okay, I'll go with whatever. Just give me this movie. So.
What did you think of the new suits? I was kind of critical of them in the trailer, specifically Monica's. I think overall, I don't like any of them. I like the earlier versions a lot more. Like Brie Larson's, it just seemed very. I don't even know. It's almost like Amazing
Muted?
Spider-Man, like color tones, where it's like a little bit darker, but like. I really like that suit, but just not so much on Captain Marvel. Maybe just comparing it to her Gen 1 suit or her first version. And with Kamala, this one just seemed very bright and poppy. But I don't know. I like the muted colors of the first one as well. And I feel like the Monica one, it's very like Avengers Endgame, like those time traveling suits that they have. It just seems very plasticky sort of, so I'm hoping they kind of evolve from that in the next viewing of them.
I think for Miss Marvel, I prefer the one that I picture whenever I go on Disney Plus, and she's sitting on the lamp.
Yeah.
Or
The one she had at the
street light.
beginning of the movie, right?
Yeah. I think that's my favorite version. I didn't dislike it though. I really like Monica's. It's nothing too flashy, but I quite like it. And then I don't know, Brie Larson. She just always looks fucking amazing. So I don't know. I think
She's
looks-
jacked too and stuff. Yeah,
Her
Monica's-
abs, like when she had her whatever you call it, the crop top thing. Oh
belly
my
button's an
gosh,
ab.
she is. Yeah, she is very toned. So good on her.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I like Monica's suit. I like Miss Marvel's first suit, and I like Carol's suit if it was the colors were more saturated in a good way. I like the big star. I like the sleek design. It doesn't have to be the bulky armor. I just wish like you got red on there. Make it actually red.
Yeah.
Don't make it this like really dark maroon that's been sitting in the sun for months. It's like, why? Especially when we got to this planet, it's like everything's super bright. Like, oh, we've made you suits, and it's like, I don't know if I believe this song plan that everybody's bright purples and pinks and blues, that they'd make this very muted blue and red.
Yeah.
It's like Amon's made sense, and Monica's, even because if it's black and white, that makes sense at pause. But why is hers so muted? I don't know. But I like the actual design. So
Part of me kind of wanted to see Monica with those, cause she has these
the
like,
wings.
yeah, like it's like, should I keep them? Should I get rid of them? And then we don't actually like see her with them. It's just from the back. So I kind of wish, I got that version with her on, just to get a taste for it.
I think that's a comic book variation too. I think those are there.
With the
so-
wings?
I think so. I think they're not
Okay.
exactly like wing like that, but I think there is something that hangs.
I feel like
from
anyone
her
who
or something.
flies like probably had wings at
Yeah.
in some comic.
Even if they don't even need it,
How would you know
don't,
that they're flying if they don't have wings, right?
I
Mhm.
guess, yeah.
True.
Other than the very ending of the movie and the end credits, is there anything specifically you want to talk about? Because I wanted to lump those two together because they're.
Yeah.
I don't care what they said. That was an end credit that they definitely put at the end of the movie. That
Oh,
that
yeah.
the last 2 minutes there.
I mean,
so
and they only did one end credit,
Yeah.
right? So that I think they kind of did that way.
there's something there, yeah.
Couple things for me. We didn't talk
Mm-hmm.
about this sequence at all. I loved the plan with the cats, the goose species,
Mm.
gobbling up all these people and then spitting them out back on Earth. Because once again, it's just like the singing planet for me. It's like that's the ridiculous, stupid, fun thing, and I just found it super enjoyable. I assumed those cats, and I guess just Goose in the past, just destroyed whoever they consumed. So that was a bit of a shocking reveal to me that they're actually just storing them for later. I don't know what the math is, how the math works on that, but I really enjoyed that. I'm also a big cat guy, so just a bunch of cats being cute. I mean, that's gonna naturally work for me. So I like that sequence. I don't know if anyone wants to add
The
anything on that.
flirkin. The flirkin.
Yeah.
That's
The
the.
flirks,
that's
right?
The
It's
goose
funny-
looking at himself with the tentacles was a little off-putting.
Taylor didn't like that. He thought they
Yeah.
went too long there, But
I don't
yeah,
blame you for that.
those are definitely. I've seen the two moments now: the musical number and that people. It's like either that's your make or break for the movie, and I'm like 50.
That's
I
a
like the
fair
mu-
take for sure.
Yeah,
There's
I'm
someone to not
50 where I
it.
like the musical number. The cats, I need some time because I laughed about it, but at the same time, it's just like not that anything's needed in a movie. I don't know. I was watching. It's like I guess I'm just not jive. I think my issue is I didn't jive with anything with Nick Fury and the people on that ship. So that's where I could just take all that out. Even though
For
I
me,
like
that, like spiced it up and finally gave me something
Yeah.
to enjoy with that otherwise just very dull sequence.
Yeah, like other than I do think another person, I can't remember her name, but the person that plays Kamal's mom, she also kills it. Every line they give her, man, she delivers it so
She
well.
was great in the show too.
Yeah,
for
she
the
was
most
great
part.
there too. So, yeah, I'm 50 on that, but yeah, they're paying Sam Jackson for nothing. Like I like he's making a good chunk of change. Like they should when they're looking at budgets. I like Sam Jackson, but what they're having Nick Fury do right now, it's like this is not worth the money, guys. This adds nothing. It's just feel like they're finding reasons, and even then, like they gave him a couple fight scenes here and there, but he just like I thought Secret Invasion was getting back to like Nick Fury has to get back to where he was, and it just feels like again where he's throwing some jokes out. He's having a good time. Like he doesn't feel like he's been affected by anything. So that ship stuff didn't work for me. The cat stuff, the cat thing. I think I just need a second watch. That's where I am.
That was my other note that I was going to bring up is Nick Fury is truly the only character in this. Like, because Dar-Ben, say what you will, I like even if it's bad, like I don't really care that much. Nick Fury, I actively hated every choice they made with him here. I hated how lighthearted he was about absolutely everything.
Yeah.
To me, just like especially hot off Secret Invasion and what's happening there, it just doesn't like it fits the movie, I guess, but it doesn't fit the universe, and that's where especially
Exactly.
when this is very much a continuation off something that just recently happened,
Mm-hmm.
it didn't work for me at all. So I just didn't like the tone of the character and the choice in that way. And to some extent, what am I going to do? Blame the director for that? Like this is the MCU machine, and you're working on one project. You're not
Exactly.
working on every project, so it's hard to line up these things sometime. But it just did not work. And then like even too, there is no world. No Nick Fury that I know would ever fucking bring Kamala's family up to space.
Yeah, I didn't
Like
get
that is one of the most wild decisions.
They're not in
ever.
danger.
And
They're
it's
not
such a,
after
like, low
Kamal's
stakes, like,
family.
nitpicky thing that like
Yeah.
I don't really care that much, but it's just it makes zero sense for the character who's getting mad that Monica has that one line about here's what Saber stands for, and yet he's
I'm glad you
bringing them
said
up to
that.
this space with all this stuff, all the danger that could be involved in that. Like this is not a trip for passengers. Like you leave them back at home, you drop them at that house in Louisiana and move on. So hated everything with Nick Fury. That was truly the only thing that like bothered me in this movie.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought the Monica thing because they say that, and then 5 minutes later, it's like, well, here we go, we're going to Saber, and blah, blah, blah. It's like, I think, unfortunately, the 1-2 punch of this and Secret Invasion, like Nick Fury's jumped the shark. I'm no longer excited when I see Nick Fury. You know,
Yeah.
I'm kind of like the Skrulls, where unfortunately I'm waiting for Da Ben to land and go, you Nick Fury, and kill him. You know, like that's what I want to happen in one of these movies because just
son of a bitch, scroll
Yeah.
sympathizer.
like I say, I'll always stick to it that he shouldn't have got blipped and he should have been there in Endgame and he should have died. That should have been another one of the deaths with ScarJo, with Iron Man. He should have got a big send off there, and I think that would have been great. And I think that would have been cool to see. Hey, and also it would have answered why there's no Avengers team because hey, he put them together. There's no one to put the team together now. No one trusts anybody. But same thing. He's been around doing what? Like who knows? And even at the end, I laughed. Like I get it. He's like, what's going on with the situation? The guy's like, well, the planet, you know, they're coming together, but there's some struggles. He's like, not that one, Monica. It's just like, I get that you're friends with Monica, but like I thought many times these characters like, oh, one person versus a million, and it's like Monica versus an entire planet, and he just like shoots them down, like, not that. I'm not talking about them. It's just like they're fucking like innocent people. If you're like, what? Like it's just, yeah, they've lost their way at that character.
He's gonna get some Monica Rambeau cards, put some fake blood on them, and just like he did with
Yeah.
Coulson and the Captain America cards.
Yeah, I did not like. As soon as the movie ended, it was just like, man, how the mighty have fallen. Like I remember all these Nick Fury scenes in the old Avengers movies. Iron Man, what was it? Iron Man 2, or is it the first Iron Man when he's at the end?
Talked about the Avengers Initiative, yeah.
Yeah, like
Big
just
world, Tony
really
Stark.
badass, sweet moments. He always just had this badassery about him now, and now I'm gonna be thinking about, you know, when they're in the escape pods. And Kamal's dad's like doing this prayer, and then he's like, keep praying. Like I forget how the hell he
Amen.
said it.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that line.
Yeah,
Jeez.
amen. Keep praying, and he's like just this goofy,
Yeah.
goofy weird character. Yeah, it was
It's so weird.
so weird. Just
Yeah.
he seems like such a different character. That's where I'm watching this. I'm like, is this a Skrull? Like, is this really Nick Fury? Like, this just seems so bizarre. Yeah,
He's like the fun uncle, but like, how in any way did his character development lead to that?
I would have
Yeah.
liked if they had like him get a head injury, and now he's just like totally whacked out, and he's
Oh,
just
yeah,
a
maybe
completely
that's-
different
Let's make
psyche.
that the headcanon there.
Yeah, it would explain a lot of things. Because I mean, Travis, you made a good point. Like, since Endgame, like I know he had some good moments in Far From Home, but like that was also the Skrull version of
Skrull,
Nick
yeah.
Fury, right? So.
And not good enough that I don't think we could lose him. You know, like there's nothing in that movie. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, if we lost, we would have got this. It's like, no, like, and even that sucks in Secret Invasion. I think there's some good acting scenes with Sam Jackson, but I don't think there's anything there that like we'd have to keep. You know, so it would have been better if he went out on a high. And now when he goes out, I feel like it's gonna be like Hemdell-esque. When Hemdell got killed in Infinity, we're like, okay, cool, Hemdell's dead. Like, I think that's gonna
So
be Nick
tragic
Fury.
for like
Yeah.
where he
Oh, yeah.
was in the early stages.
Yeah, when they do their soft reboot, like he needs to go. They gotta get
It's like
rid of Nick
it's like a
Fury.
TV series that's gone on a couple seasons too long. You know, it's like could have ended this so
Dexter.
cleanly. Yeah.
Seen a few of those in my day.
He's in his Dexter season 8 run right now. Where it's like,
He's
oh,
in the
God.
the Apocalypse Killer or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
that was.
Oh,
Doomsday.
Travis Miller, the Apocalypse Killer. Fuck. Look what you did to me, Travis. Oh, God. Edward James almost. Oh. Dan, any thoughts on Nick Fury?
Pulled it up late.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I their whole escape plan, I definitely laughed because I just thought, man, this is sick and fucked up. I mean, ultimately it worked. They saved everyone, which is
You were
great. It was
audible
very
when that
creative,
happened.
but-
You're like, Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
well, it's just like it's weird because you got like
Amen.
the heroes basically like Kamala's making walls blocking people, and
Oh,
he goes
yeah.
to that guy and he's like freaking
Brutal.
out and being eaten. Yeah, it's very brutal. I thought, man, this is like a horror movie.
For a moment, they
Um,
thought that Nick Fury and the Marvels turned against them and were just murdering everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Because there's no context. They're just saying, please, all Saber staff, let the Flurkins eat you. It's like there's no fucking context at all. So,
What is the inside of a flurkin like?
Oh, I don't want to know.
Slimy.
Probably
for
the
sure.
like the
And tight.
Kraken, in Dead Man's chest. Like you
Yeah.
go to Davy Jones' locker. That's what I imagine.
You go to Davy Jones' locker, yeah.
Curious.
I'm
Curious.
curious.
What was the other thing I was gonna say about it? He's his wife. Where's his wife at? Isn't he like just up there?
Well,
having
they're
a good
separated
time?
now. Oh wait, she went with him.
Yeah,
right.
she's up there. That's why he doesn't care. He's
She's
like,
in the belly of a flurkin.
he's
right
like,
now.
I'm
I
not
review
paying
that?
taxes. I'm up here. I got my wife. You know,
They literally
That's
just wrote Secret Invasion out of canon. Like, there's no mention of
They did.
Talos or anything, too.
No, the Captain Marvel didn't
mention of
care at all.
Gaia.
About this. No Gaia, of course, most
Gaia.
powerful character in the MCU now.
Where's the
Could've
Super
used her here.
Scrolls? You know, they could have defeated Barden.
Yeah.
Except for Gaia.
Barden.
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 Darvin. Yeah, you know, you're not wrong with that.
Go
This
for
one
it.
super scroll, like, fuck, that's all you needed. Gaia
Flexes
could've
the arm.
fucking
You
ended it,
scrolls, and then big
Oh, shit,
flex
is
and
that
arm comes in
Drax's
there.
arm? Yeah.
Imagine if that would have been the post credit. I would have fucking broke the screening thing if they would be like, oh, here's meet my friend. Like if Miss Marvel, instead of recruiting who she did, recruit Gaia, and oh man, would have been something.
Just like
Any-
bench pressing with these Drax arms.
You wanted scrolls? Scrolls. Anything else for the ending? All right, we'll take our last ad break. We'll give you our thoughts on the very ending, then credits, and our final thoughts. We'll be right back. And we're back. So, like I said, these are definitely two mid-credit scenes or end-credit scenes, whatever, but they're rolled into one. So I'm just going to put them together, and then I'll throw them to you guys. You see what you think, or give us your thoughts, whatever. You know what we do here. So first one, we had, someone walk up right away. You see there's a bow and arrow shadow in the door frames. You go, okay, here we go. We haven't seen Kate Bishop since 2021, I guess it's been. So it's been a couple years. She's Hawkeyeing up, and then you got Miss Marvel doing that exact scene that Kirkland was talking about with Sam Jackson in the first Iron Man of, it's a big world out there, Kate Bishop, and I'm sorting a team. Like, who's on the team? Well, I really don't have anybody. I'm putting out feelers, but I just have you. You want to join it? So it looks like they're officially getting the wheels rolling for Young Avengers. I wonder if that can even happen now, to be honest, because I feel like I have faith it will, but it's just like certain times in the DCU when it's like the box office started to drop, you're like, are we going to get here? I don't know, but that's their goal. They're setting that up. And then the other one was there were Monica. She's in a different reality, and all of a sudden this voice wakes her up, and it's her mom. But her mom, it's not just her mom, because she's like, what? You're not my daughter. Like, well, I don't know you. And she takes off this she had a blanket wrapped fully around her body just to conspicuously hide this costume. Like, very odd way of holding the blanket, but I guess she was really cold. She takes it off to reveal that she is binary in that world, which is there kind of like Captain Marvel. So Maria Rambeau's great. She's playing Captain Marvel again because we got that in Doctor Strange. And then we get, of course, the MCU could not help themselves. We did get Kelsey Grammer's Beast back here, so we've shown that we're in a different multiverse. They couldn't help themselves, and they just had to fucking CGI him, even though the makeup looks fucking great both times they did it. But no, God forbid we use practical makeup. But Dilmas, what did you think about these two endings of the setup of the Young Avengers? Kamala and Kate pounding around, and then you got Monica officially in a different universe. Beast referred to Charles, and yes, we did get Beast. We saw Charles. We're getting another X-Men character here, and the next movie is an X-Men movie, so who knows what's going on? But
Sorry, the next movie is an X-Men movie? Okay, so
yeah, Deadpool 3, right?
Deadpool 3.
Yeah.
I guess that's true at this point.
Yeah.
We fucking saw Beast. I mean, I was excited. I guess I had no expectation. I'm sure this was leaked and people knew about this.
Yes.
I did not know about this whatsoever. So it was very exciting for me. And my God, we saw him. Yes, it was CGI, but I mean, I wouldn't expect anything different, I guess. So I guess that's where I'm at. I'm not too bothered by it. I think he looked solid as far as CGI creatures go, and I also agree with you that I think the practical Beast looked great back in the day too. But that's not how the MCU does things anymore. So
He does look like a carbon copy of the animated series Beast. Like, he looks
amazing.
the way they CGI'd him here. He has the
looks
same
great.
hair and
I think it looks
To quote Isaac Watts, I was
Oh,
waiting for
yeah.
a quote line in there.
yeah.
I mean, I was just so hyped on that. I think the part beyond it too is kind of just getting some info. Like, okay, here's probably how they could integrate X-Men in some ways, that they exist in an alternate dimension. And then we were talking about that too earlier, that what Darben was doing was like potentially going to blend these two realities together, and obviously with Loki and all these different timeline things, a lot of that stuff's going on right now. So I guess that could be the solution. There's multiple ways we could do it, and that's what's exciting for me, is all these like potential. Now that we have a little bit more information on X-Men, like how is it going to integrate into the greater MCU? But yeah, is it just going to be like this alternate dimension thing, and it's kind of these, I don't know, I guess parallel paths that are moving on, and then the Secret Wars saga, that kind of thing, can bring these worlds together, or is there going to be a merging of these two worlds? And I'm really curious to see how they would do that, because that seems very difficult to implement, but they got to do it at some point if they want to get these X-Men in there. So I was just completely hyped on that. And I could talk about all the other things too, but I don't know if we want to go thing by thing here.
Never thought that this is how we were going to get X-Men in the MCU. You know, I really thought we were going to wait around till not a reboot or a soft reboot, but just they'd bring him in some way. And here we are. We're getting Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. We got Patrick Stewart's Xavier last year, and now we're getting Kelsey Grammer's Beast out of all people, you know? So they definitely surprised me with some of these picks here. So
Yeah, it was fantastic. I did not know anything about this. You know, Taylor was trying to get me all excited. He's like, "Do you know what's coming? Do you know what's coming?" I got a little bit of a hint of what's coming, and
something
then
here for you.
take him by the throat.
I audibly gasped in this moment. I was extremely hyped. As soon as I heard the voice too, just knew who he was. And I was very confused, I guess, by Maria and like what she was going to be there, because she was Captain Marvel in the Multiverse of Madness appearance there. So the suit threw me off because I wasn't sure if it was a different character like altogether. She was also.
So with you mentioning the suit, I guess that also confirms that this is not that universe that Wanda fucked up. This is another universe.
Yeah.
Right? Because he did say get Charles as well. So this is a universe where Charles is alive. So Patrick Stewart coming back again, baby.
Yeah. She also difference from the other version too. She had the double bandles here, right?
Yeah.
So I
I
guess
didn't
that's how
catch
they're
that.
able to warp to that location. That
She's
makes
the
sense.
multiverse key here. So.
Yeah, but so overall, I thought that scene was really, really badass, and Monica just realizing, you know, she was like shit, or like just like realize it's like I'm kind of not necessarily stuck here, but you know, she's far from home, and she's it's
Does
gonna
she have No Way Home? Yeah.
we'll have to find out, and then
Yeah, maybe she'll do
3
stuff for
years whenever we get
Homecoming,
these
you know?
movies.
Then she's gonna
But-
get there and home's gonna be wrecked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but like I legit had goosebumps as soon as I saw that blue fur. It was just such a exciting moment. Especially, you know, like we're hot off the X-Men retros right
Yeah.
now, so it's just right there at the frontal lobe, and we're getting closer and closer. Like in Miss Marvel, we got the word mutant there, you know, Multiverse of Madness. We get to see
I wish they
Charles.
hit the theme again. I wish they hit the theme again when we
That
saw
would have
Beast.
been.
That would have been.
I would have
yeah.
just
I saw an article that it was like the theme from X2.
Yeah, and Days of Future Past. So I don't know why in Miss Marvel
Which
they
I'm
used.
not good at picking up themes like that, so I didn't even catch that.
Yeah. So I don't know why in Miss Marvel they used the and then here they didn't. You know, like I'm completely fine with them saying
Copyright. It's got to
Yeah.
be copyright. Those fucking
they
lawyers.
only
man.
use it for TV. Yeah, like I'd be fine. I don't care if it's from the show. Just lift the theme. Just do it. Like and like it's technically I don't. Again, this is what we're gonna have to wait to find out with Hugh Jackman. I don't think this is the Kelsey Grammer Beast of the Fox universe, but maybe it is because they're using that music. So I don't know.
I think it'll be like Daredevil soft reboot. Like it's the same guy, but
Yeah.
it's our own. We're making up our own rules, kind of thing.
Yeah. Or maybe they're also setting up like when we meet Hugh Jackman, maybe because he has the X-Men universe or the X-Men costume on, maybe we're going to meet this universe is that universe Hugh Jackman's from, like this working or X-Men crew, right? That has the comic book accurate looks and costumes. So it could be that. And that's where maybe that's how they tied Deadpool and all this as
Yeah.
well. So
Man, I had not really thought about that until right now. That the lineup of this ending with the Beast and the postcard into Deadpool being the next thing, and I wonder how intentional. Because in the back a few years ago when we got all the announcements of things, was there supposed to be a different order of release order for at least the movies? Because the
I don't think
shows move around all the time.
yeah, if movies for like at one point, like we got again, like Captain Marvel and Deadpool swapped a bunch of places. I think Deadpool was deep.
Deadpool
I think
was after another movie or two.
I think it was after
originally.
Fantastic Four at one point, and
Yeah.
Blade, because Blade was supposed to be out last week, but obviously that didn't happen.
Oh my god.
MCU's having some struggles. So I think there's been some shifts, but I don't think the Marvels has ever shifted. So
Yeah.
like S Bub says, I think that is a good point of maybe why they use CGI. They just whipped this scene together in one point. But this could make sense as far as still are trying to get people hyped. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I don't
I feel
necessarily
like-
think that this is going to mean that this Beast and we're going to get a continuation of this post
No.
credit into Deadpool. Like I that's not what I'm expecting off this. It's more just like it's hard for me not to get hyped. It's like, you know, it's
Yeah.
it's mindless fanboy hype, but I'm going to rock with it, you know.
Yeah, it's interesting because I don't know if it gets the mainstream hype. Like, I don't think they see Kelsey Grammer's Beast like, oh fuck, I can't wait for Deadpool. Like, I think it's just not as recognizable for us. It is, but it's just like it's a fun pick. Like, I think it means Kelsey Grammer's back for sure. Like, he's gonna be back doing some stuff in Deadpool 3 or in something like Deadpool 3. It sounds like so many people are back, so I could see a version of the X-Men team where Kelsey Grammer is there as Beast. It's tough because that is kind of like the smart Hulk character right now too. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, just even the storyline that they're setting this up with could mean that, you know, you bring in some of these legacy characters and maybe you get a fun performance with them, and maybe it's just a one-off thing. Maybe they die, maybe they don't, but you can still like merge with another universe and cast someone else. Now, obviously, you don't want to like cast one of these old people. Not necessarily old people, but someone from this older property that we're
Kelsey
used to.
Grammer. Yeah.
Bring them back for one thing as like a bait and switch, and then go with a new guy.
Yeah.
So it could be a risky thing, but at least with the way that they're setting up the integration of how X-Men is going to get integrated into the 616 universe, you could do that. You could have multiple versions of the characters, as you mentioned. Like, we're already getting, I guess, technically 2 Xaviers, 2 separate
Yeah.
ones.
We got
this
3 Spider-Man,
universe, and
right?
Yeah,
Like,
I'm sure
they set that
Deadpool's gonna
up.
do some crazy stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, they could do all sorts of things.
Thousands
It-
of Kangs.
Do you guys think this shot was in the X Mansion, like basement, somewhere in the lab down there,
Yeah, I think so.
or was it in space? Probably not in space, right?
I think the X Mansion, because one of the computer, I guess that could be in space. One of the computers did have an X logo on it, but you could also
Classic.
just have that in space. Good software, but I like to think it's in the mansion and Monica's.
Well, there's
hanging
the
out
big
in there.
door, right, with the big X-Men X on there.
There was
You
that
could
too. Yeah.
I was
Put it on
busy
a
looking at
spaceship,
Beast the whole
but-
time.
You
I
put
didn't
that on
have time
spaceship
to
as well,
look
too,
at
yeah.
The rest of the room.
What about you, Taylor?
I don't know if like I knew there was a very wonderful post-credit scene, but I don't think I really knew what it was. I saw there were spoilers and stuff online, but I was kind of hoping something X-Men related. I think I saw some people kind of whispering
Really?
that around online, but
At the theater?
I didn't know what the
You
what the
it was
context
Beast, though,
was.
at the very least.
I did not know it was Beast.
Beast
No,
at
so
least.
that was super juicy. That was great. And you know, Kelsey Grammer, he's back as Frasier. He's back as Beast. He's just popping off.
He's
so,
coming back. Yeah,
he's coming back,
Year of
yeah.
the Kelsey.
Year of the Kelsey, yeah. So
Frasier's back too.
that's
That's
what
what
I
we
said.
just said.
Okay,
Come on,
sorry.
wake up, wake
I
up.
was setting up the StreamYards for Loki. Sorry.
Pulling the Taylor.
how
Frasier's back.
convenient.
Yeah.
I feel like this motivation. Just I want to get my Beast on, and I want to watch get into this shit.
Oh
you
fuck,
know.
the toilet toy. Yeah.
toilet
You had the
toy,
toilet
Check out
toy
the
with you in
X-Men
the.
Toilet toy, yeah.
Yeah,
the
you won't
theater.
understand that.
There he
That's-
is.
There he is. I am.
That
I
Kirkland made that joke after too. Like, imagine Beast like, "Hey, Jubilee, you go take a look at the bathroom." Like, there's
Taylor made the
something
joke, but
Oh,
I
was it
appreciate
Taylor
you
made the
thinking I'm
joke?
funny. Yeah.
I was
Okay,
making
whoever
fun
did,
'cause
yeah.
I was
I
like,
said it
oh,
louder
well,
than him, so therefore you thought it was.
It's
me.
all about who says the joke louder.
Yeah.
That's true. It's true. It's a shame that Beast is only in X-Men Last Stand, and it's a shame that
Oh,
that's
he's in Days
when
of Future Past.
no. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Well, that's when he was introduced, like the third movie into that trilogy. That's when they
Oh, I
brought
agree
him
with
in.
you. Yes.
Because I feel like in retrospect they should have put him in sooner than that, and that's when they introduce Wolverine to Beast and that just brief dialogue that they have. I just think that
Look
they
at
should
you with
have
your X Men
expanded on
lore. I
that
thought you
more.
were an X Men hater, but like you're out here. You
He's
know all the
secretly been a big
references
fan this whole
This
time.
retro
I went
just
and-
changed him.
I went and watched a couple of Beast scenes before I booted up the cast because I was feeling
Even
it
before
and,
the
like,
movie.
Off.
before the movie. Yeah, I'm really just and I feel like if you hate
He
X
just comes into
Men,
the cast like sweating bullets.
Let's talk about
hey
Beast.
guys, let's talk about Beast. I think
Plunger in
if-
hand.
if you hate
Go check out
X
the
Men,
retro.
if you're not a fan of
You
those
hate
characters, yeah, if
X-Men.
you hate X Men, just fucking loathe it. Watch the animated series because it'll turn you around.
Oh,
I am genuinely just really hyped on X Men. So when I saw Beast, it was just
Nice.
great, and I want to watch those movies. I want to do my X Men retro and just get it over and done with, and just soak it all up.
I want to do it. Get it over and done with.
Get over and done with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The X-Men retro again. We just redo it. You know, me, Kirkland, Kyle had a good time. We'll do it again. You know, it's a good time. Maybe we'll
Travis,
do a
sounds like you
contract.
were spoiled on the Beast thing.
Yeah, I heard about day one. Unfortunately, just the way it goes.
What
Sometimes.
is day
He's a
one in
leaker.
this context?
When they screened it right away, people are like, "Oh, Kelsey Grammer's back as Beast." It's like, "Oh, thanks." But luckily, it's not like I'm excited by that, but it's not like a like I'm more excited by that for the him having a role down the line. It's cool to see him. I hope that is a confirmation of that. I hope it's I think it's very random, but I hope, and it's just been tough because I feel like they've also done like a bunch of end credits lately the past couple of years with like Harry Styles and Blade's voice. It's just like
They've
a
been
lot
very
that they don't
meaningless
follow
lately.
up on. Yeah, so it's like I hope this doesn't just lead to Kelsey Grammer in one scene Deadpool 3 being like, "Have fun out there, Logan," and he gives his quote and that's it. You know, like I want to be like, no, he has a supporting role in this or Secret Wars. So it's fun to see him, but again, and also I was disappointed by the CGI right when I saw it. I went, ugh, I just not a fan of the look. So but you know, it happens. Name of the game.
Yeah. CGI. Jesus Christ.
That's fucking CGI, Jesus Christ.
You
You guys
sound
got,
like Darben.
CGI. Oh, CGI beast. You're hopeless. Anything to say on the Young Avengers? I just think that's cool, and
Yeah.
I'm ready to. I hope that movie does happen, and I hope it's a movie, not a fucking Disney Plus show. Hope it happens, and I'm very excited to see that team up.
It was glorious. I loved it. I loved that she had the hat on. I love that she was in the shadows, the dimly lit room with
dimly lit room.
the iPad and everything. And it's just I don't know. Like I think I just wanted like a 15-minute back and forth between Haley Steinfeld and Amon there. It just I can't wait to get those characters on screen together. It's gonna be just glorious. It's gonna be glorious. So yeah, I thought that was a nice little mini end credit scene, even though it wasn't. It was a pre-credit scene. But yeah, it was great.
Pre-cred.
I was not expecting it. I thought it was wonderful. For a second, I couldn't tell if it was Kamala in there. I thought, okay, is it Captain Marvel? Because Kamala was like, I
Gaia.
thought she was implying it's Gaia. Just Drax arms out, putting together a team.
If you don't join, I'll kill you.
I don't know why, but my brain was trying to like wrap around what was going on because I see the shadow through the door and I was like, what is this pointy thing here and all this shit? Like, what's going on? But yeah, no, it was
Looking like an
Kate
Aquaman
Bishop. It was fantastic. And I like the kind of dialogue that they shared with each other. I'd love to see more of that. That's fun. So I can't wait to see the scene where Scar comes home and then Iman is in Scar's room. It's like, I'm putting together a team.
I think we'll have to have a conversation because after this we're gonna have tons of months about like the rescheduling the phases. I think for Young Avengers, if they do it, they got to keep that roster light, like 5 people the most. If they're trying to keep budgets down, no fucking Scar, no Wanda's kids. Like
They don't
you,
care about budgets. Do you
Just
see
CGI
Kelsey Grammer?
characters.
yeah, well, they gotta learn. That was not worth it. The CGI Kelsey Grammer there, and I guess we forgot to mention they already did mention like, oh, I heard Ant-Man had a kid, so insinuating that Cassie Lang would be a part of the crew, which is like does nothing for me because like Cassie Lang I didn't love in that movie. So, but I feel like those 3 and then maybe 2 more, and then that's about
Ironheart in
it.
There, throw in,
Throw who?
Ironheart.
You said William Hurt, like the
Yeah,
actor.
throw
like,
William
he's dead,
Hurt in
Dylan.
there.
He's dead.
Bring him back
Yeah.
from the grave.
Yeah, oh, he sold his AI rights. He's there. No Ironheart, yeah, but maybe like 1 more, you know, and they'll probably have to get like a dude on there because then you'll just get a bunch of red eye thumbnails.
Get this guy in
reviews.
here. You know what he's doing.
The Emperor's son, my son. Like, I love that he took off his crown, and I thought he was going to talk about how
Very
he's giving up
symbolic.
control, but he never did. He just took it off because like his head was sweaty or something like that.
Yeah, that would not be. I don't think I could wear that for a long period. This is just pure metal that would dig into your.
Who wears a crown anymore? Either too. It's 2025 in their universe. Who's walking around with a crown? Like you can't wear.
Who
you can't
sings
wear,
for a language? These alien races do different things.
You can't wear a crown when you've been on the run for like 30 years. Like,
He's the self-proclaimed
That's all he's
emperor.
got left, man. Let him have his goddamn crown.
oh my kids,
Um,
damn.
Yeah, I don't know if I have too much to add here. I love this. I don't know why. The last few months, I've just been thinking about Kate Bishop a lot. I'm like, man, none of these projects
Yeah,
that
we
I
all think about Kate
see, and
Bishop.
things are getting delayed. So anything that is coming is even further down, and things that have not been announced are even further away. I'm like, where the hell is Kate Bishop show up again? None of these projects make sense for her. So to see her again was pretty hype, even if it was just a little once again potentially meaningless scene. But I feel like this one's got to go somewhere. I mean, I do think all those things are going to go somewhere at some point. It might just take a long time for most of those post-credity things. But yeah, I love this idea. I would definitely prefer a movie, I think, just with the quality of the shows lately and the budgetary issues.
Yeah.
But because I know like MCU, like they're not going to do that thing where we would love we're all saying this, we'd take a movie with no villain, you know, just let's just have these characters hanging out doing some other fun journey. I'm down with that, and that's what I would love for a TV show with these characters. But now, obviously, if they're young Avengers, they got to be battling someone. So I think a movie is the way to go. But yeah, it makes me curious about like how are they going to breadcrumb this? How are they going to bring other characters into the mix? Like we know Ironheart has her own show coming up. If she's someone who's going to fit on this team, and she was in college recently, right? She's in that age group. With Steinfeld saying she's 23 in this already, so they're not kids anymore. So yeah, we could see Miss Marvel pop up in that in an end credit. That could be exciting. So definitely want to do that cast of really pitching who this roster should be, because there is a lot of options on the board. But I think to your point, Travis, they should start fairly small. But yeah, just got me really hyped. It was great to see her again. I love the way the whole scene was done, and yeah, I really hope it leads to something sooner rather than later. I hope this is something where they've been planning this, has been in the background, and even though we got some rumors on it, I hope it's like, okay, now that the movie's out and people have this information, that the announcement could come. I'm not going to say like this year, because that's probably pretty quick.
No, like 2
delays and
years from
strikes
now.
and everything.
Yeah.
But I would love to see that announcement of we're actually doing it, and just build towards that Young Avengers. I think it's a great interim, especially if Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars keep getting pushed back and back and back. There's a good hype team up movie. I know we have Thunderbolts, which I'm hyped about as well. Here's another good potential team up opportunity that would be a good stepping stone to those bigger Avengers things. So really hope it happens.
And I do think too, with like presumably the Marvel's not going to do that well at the box office. That's where we'll do a cast on or something. I wonder if there's a version of this where somehow they do get Spider-Man on there, because I feel like they need a heavy hitter.
Absolutely.
And I don't think Kate Bishop or Miss Marvel are a heavy hitter. Like I love them, but like box office wise,
there's two sides of
know.
the coin where like I feel like you want these characters to shine they've had the chance to shine. You know, they've had a full show now, and Miss Marvel's been in a movie in a leading role. But yeah, I think you do want them to shine, but at the same time, you want to throw Spidey in there. I mean, he would be.
You got to make money. You
And
got
he needs a mission in the future. He's just on his own now doing nothing. So that might be a good way for
That
him
new
to
suit.
integrate in.
Oh, baby.
Or what they do again. We'll wait for another day. The rumors are of them introducing Miles. Maybe Peter goes to main Avengers, and you get Miles on the Young Avengers.
Yeah,
You know, that could be
or
another
Gwen or
tasty
both.
thing.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
fun.
So
Yeah.
we'll talk about it. We're gonna have a long time until Deadpool 3, so we'll have some bread and butters. Maybe that'll be good bread and butter.
Echo being a binge drop, that's only going to cover us for one episode.
Yeah.
rather than, in 6 weeks like a normal TV show.
I wonder if
Oh no.
Kamala Khan will think like, or not think, eventually meet America Chavez and be like, oh, hey, you
yeah,
can
she'll
help me
be
go
on
get
the team.
Monica.
Yeah.
That's another great one. Yeah.
Because she could go get Monica, right? She could just hop over to that alternate
Oh, it
reality.
could
and
be something,
bring her
yeah.
back.
And Chavez, yeah, she was the actress was posting. I think she called them on while she was about to go do the whole premiere thing and stuff. So they're close. So I think they've all been
Called her.
tipped off for a while that they are going to be doing something. They just can't say. And again, Phase 6 had movies that were question marks. So I imagine Young Avengers is hopefully one of those. 'Cause, yeah, I don't think Disney Plus is it's not the way to go with that one. Anything else on those two scenes or end it off here?
I feel like I could talk about those things forever. There's so many
Yeah.
more angles to tackle it, but I think I'm happy with that for now, and then have some good main topics on the newscast. Break down some of this more. Yeah.
Final thoughts on this movie, Dylan?
Yeah, it's a very flawed movie. We talked about that, but I still really enjoyed it. Kirkland, you posed this at the very beginning where you're like, I wonder how I'm going to feel about this on a rewatch. I don't think I'll like this when I rewatch it as much as I did this time. I don't think I'll be rewatching this one very often. I don't know. Maybe it could be a fun, light one to put on, and it's shorter, which I like now. But I don't see myself rewatching it, and I think I'll get diminishing returns when I do. And yeah, so even though I do enjoy it, and I was kind of mostly positive, I still think this has got to be pretty low in the rankings. What do we got now? 40.
I think this is 44th project.
44
44 or 45, yeah.
So this will probably be in that. It's got to be like around that 35 to 40 range for me, I think. I'll say, yeah, I'm going to throw 35. That's probably where it's at roughly for now. So I enjoyed it, but obviously it's not an all-time great MCU thing for me. But man, I can't wait to see where those two end things lead us.
So I guess I don't know what people count, because does Loki season 2 count as another project, or is that just
And now you
another
have fucking
season?
2 seasons of Groot in there, and it's like, are those
Yeah, I
really,
count
like-
Groot as a one. I'll count as one. Loki, I guess you count as one, but technically, if it's on its own, this is number 44. Yeah, I think Dylan can hit the nail on the head. That as of right now, I'll give it a 7. I enjoy it, and 7 are usually movies I'll go back to. I am excited because there's two minds of me. When I watched it alone, I think there will be things that could go down. I think it has nowhere to go but down, so I could see this landing more around a 6 once I watch it. But on the flip side, I'm very excited to watch this with my girls because I think that could make it have a good time there. There's movies that I enjoy a lot more seeing with them than I do just watching alone. So there might be a different enjoyment I get out of this going forward. But yeah, I think it's a good background movie. I think it's a movie that if I see and think about these characters, I go, oh, I'd like to see them interact for a bit. This is what I'll put on, you know? It's shorter than Miss Marvel. There is some fun moments. Yeah, lots of problems. I think this is lower mid-tier. If I had to look at where I had it ranked right now, yeah, it's probably in the bottom 10 somewhere, because I don't think it's better than Ant-Man or Doctor Strange or Ultron. It's tough. Like, I don't know where even compared to the first movie. Like, I think technically the first movie is probably better overall, but I might enjoy this one more. And that the first movie I remember really, really enjoying, and as the more I've watched it, I have gone back on it. I still like it, I think, more than others. But yeah, probably bottom 10. But that sounds a lot bad. There's only 2 projects in the MCU I've ever failed. That's Ant-Man and Secret Invasion. So luckily, like, even the bottom 10, that's still stuff like, oh, I enjoy this. It's a good time. So 7, I could see it drop into a 6. We'll see. I got to sit on some scenes. So yeah, fun enough, but nothing. As I said in my opening, it's for comic book MCU fans. This is not anything that I would recommend to some people that, oh, I'm tired of comic book stuff. I would say, hey, wait for Disney Plus, but it's not gonna be, you got to go see this in theaters. I think it's just kind of a fun Saturday morning episode, like we said with the X-Men at retrospective stuff. So 7 out of 10. That's where I'm at. Actually, end
Yeah.
off Kirkland, because Taylor's probably the lowest, right? I imagine. So maybe Kirkland, you'll at least be higher than
Okay.
Taylor. Taylor, what did your score? I should have led with you. I forgot, Taylor. You were native Nancy.
I am going to give it a 7 out of 10. I think
Oh,
that's
wow.
that's a pretty good score, actually. After talking,
That does not match your
Is
opening at
rushed.
all
It's a
to me.
fantastic
Yeah.
That's a rush
score.
score right there.
Yeah. I'll take a 7.
Workshop that one a bit longer.
7 out of 10. I don't know if I'm going to be rushing to revisit this. The only instance I can see myself wanting to is because I'll try and get Madison to be able to sit down and enjoy it at some point. But definitely not in a hurry. Yeah, you have to enjoy this. I'll just skip to the end credit scene for her to watch. No, I'm kidding. There is some
Kelsey
good things
Grammer?
in here.
She's
Yeah, it's
popping
Kelsey
off.
Grammer. There are some good things in here. The chemistry that you guys were bringing up between our 3 main actresses was fantastic. They were really, really awesome. And I think compared to like the TV show Miss Marvel, I feel like she really popped off more in this. And I mean that's fantastic to go from being in like a series, like a TV series, just getting your own feature film and being there. And I think that's really fantastic for her character. And so to see where that's gonna go and how she's kind of leading the spearheading the direction of the new Young Avengers, I'm excited to see how they tackle that. And yeah, just everyone's been kind of placed in specific positions. I guess aside from Captain Marvel, she's just in Louisiana, but we have everyone in specific positions. Maybe
we don't
like,
know for sure.
With whenever we get to touch upon Monica Rambeau and at the X Mansion, I mean, it'll probably be a while before we see that again. I doubt they'll really go into that in Deadpool 3. I feel like they're saving that for Secret Wars or something like that. Yeah, but all in all, I did have a good time watching this film. I would recommend go see it. If you had to choose between this and another Marvel project, you'd probably pick the other Marvel project first. But yeah,
If they're still playing Ant-Man Quantumania, go see that.
no. Not
Oh,
that
so you
project.
put okay, you put Quantumania below this still at least.
I put Quantumania below this. I don't even remember what
That's
I ranked
fascinating,
Quantumania
because I
but
felt like
put
you were
that
more
below this.
positive on that, but yeah.
But my thing is, like, if you could only pick one Marvel project that came out today, go see the other one that came out today, not this one.
So Loki, episode 6. Is what you're
That's
saying.
the one.
Okay, fair enough. Kirk and Patzer, end us off.
Yeah, I had a fun time with this one, but I think, like I said earlier, on future viewings, I am curious where I'm gonna lie on it, but I truly believe it will just go lower and lower for me. But you know, had a good time with it. I still think the quality of the movie is lower to mid tier. The lower end of the mid tiers. I don't want to say bottom tier, but who knows? Maybe when I add it to my MCU rankings, it'll be lower than I'm kind of expecting it to be. But hey, you know, there's a lot of quality in there through the MCU, and I think I'm gonna get lower further faster. That's where it's gonna be dropping on my rankings. I think I wasn't even gonna give it a 7 out of 10, but I feel wrong just leaving it on the lowest mark there.
No, you
so.
can make it
Okay,
twist ending.
I'll do a twist. I'll do 6.7 out of 10
Nice.
today. Yeah, it's just I really wanted more moments between certain like the scenes that I liked, I wanted more of, and then there's just other scenes that I just didn't really want, and we got a lot of it. And you know, those poor Skrulls, you know, they're the most hated race in all of MCU, unfortunately. But yeah, no, I think I'm happy leaving it there.
Good. Glad you're happy. I hope all of you are happy with this. Let us know on the Discord, the Patreon, the YouTube. Leave us a review like Alf did, whatever you want to get to, because we'll be, of course, talking about this in the future with newscasts. Sure, there's going to be lots of news popping off, especially if this movie doesn't do well. Fight's just going to be busting from the seams to announce F4 and stuff.
It's gonna look like this.
I once was an
Seen those
emperor. And
videos.
what happened to me? What happened to me? But yeah, let us know.
Fucking pixelated that image.
Oh, yeah,
Really
keep it. We're
has
never
to
getting
be
the HD one.
aesthetic.
Yeah. But thank you very much for tuning in. I promise to be here for this next. It'll not be boring.
Bye.
Bye.